lasnem ikker belen, igna yebedelnen ikkeren demenil, awada fet nama tagban, kakifu adenenen fi, mengist yante antenantena, highly amaskam, lizlealem.
In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa, we ask these ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa and marched down the Nile, laying the foundations for human civilization and culture, we ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of these African ancestors who built their pyramids and their temples to their God concepts, to their principles, and to their moral values, who left us a legacy of architectural and monumental building unparalleled in the history of the world, we ask these ancestors who built the pyramids, who built the temples, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these African ancestors who took this African culture and extended it throughout Africa, building the stone cities of Zimbabwe, building the empires of the Sudan, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, building the Swahili city-states along the east coast of Africa, and in Christian Africa, asking King Lalibela and giving him the courage to build the 12 churches of Lalibela, from the ground down, monuments to the world. We ask these Africans who spread this culture to the Dogo and to the Akan and to the Yoruba and to the Bankango and to the Zulu. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the Africans who opened up Africa, opened up the Nile Valley to other cultures and other peoples, and they came in and nurtured themselves on the African greatness. First coming in early were the ancient Hebrews, and they synthesized this culture and produced Judaism. Later coming in were the Christians, and they synthesized this culture and produced Christianity. Coming in were also the Greeks, who took the African culture, synthesized it, and produced Greek civilization. And then later, the Prophet Muhammad, and with the Arabs coming into the Nile Valley, they synthesized the culture and produced Islam. We ask these African ancestors, who as part of their legacy laid the foundations for Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Greek civilization, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask those African ancestors pulled out of Africa, taken to the hells of North America, South America, the Caribbean, maintaining the spirit of African humanity in their hearts and in their minds, and who left us this enormous legacy of struggle. We ask those Africans who resisted enslavement in the villages of Africa, who resisted enslavement in the shores of Africa, who resisted enslavement in those forts and dungeons, who resisted enslavement in the holds of those ships, who resisted enslavement when they arrived on these shores in the New World. We ask these Africans who ran into the highlands of northeast Brazil and established for 100 years the first free republic in the Americas, the Republic of Palmares, and their last great leader, Zumbi, whose spirit and sacrifice. We ask these Africans who replicated the Brazilian experience and went into the highlands of Jamaica and became the maroon-free communities. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of the Guyanas and Suriname and created free republic of the Suramaka and the Ajuka. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of Georgia and the swamps of Florida and moved with the Seminole Indians and resisted oppression. We ask these Africans who left us a legacy of struggle and resistance, the likes of which no one in the world has, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these Africans who created and laid for us a foundation of struggle and resistance that was passed on generation after generation, that was passed on to Harriet Tubman, who fought her way out of enslavement and became a symbol of freedom for all of us. Similarly, Frederick Douglass and hundreds of thousands of others fought their way out of enslavement. We ask those Africans who went with Boukman, Dessalines, to create the greatest revolutionary experience in the history of the world, the Haitian Revolution, leaving us a legacy, the likes of which no one else has had. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future.
Let us start our class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Larry Mahashai, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, our Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, We bow to all of you. Heavenly Father,
it is Running African, and we're going through until 10 o'clock this morning. That's when the Big A comes in with the Sunday Sunshine. Stay with us. Thinking about healing and health. Imhotep, the father of medicine, Imhotep out of Kemet, recorded the importance of food to health and healing thousands of years ago. And they are still relevant today. So we must realize that the farmer is just as important as a pharmacist, and agriculture is as important as science and technology. So when we talk about STEM, it's best we say STEAM and let the A be agriculture, because we can't do what they are doing. If it's good for them, it's bad for us. So they are talking about STEM, and on the face of it, it's good, but we can't leave out the A. So we have to put the A in somewhere. So it has to be STEAM for us. And I'd like to say this to the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, and to the Ministry and Minister of Education and the Ministry and Minister of Agriculture. It's STEAM instead of STEM. I'm with you on STEM, but to the point that you include the A, STEAM for agriculture. We're recognizing the importance of agriculture, just as important as science, just as important as technology. The way congratulations are in order for Dr. Nigel Clark in demonstrating his intellectual acumen to occupy the post of one of the deputy managing directors of the International Monetary Fund. However, for us, the IMF and the Bretton Woods Institution, July 1944, in the wake of economic downturn and instability at the ending of the Second World War, was to restore economic stability and trade for Europe and America. They claimed the idea behind the institution was to promote worldwide economic prosperity, and many bought into this perceived inclusivity. But it has still not materialized for Africa, for developing countries, for Jamaica, for any of us as African ascendants and developing countries wherever we are. The Bretton Woods system ended in 1976, and the International Monetary Fund as a funding agency, we see now providing loans that are pegged to political constraints and directives. And these political constraints and directives and these loans are usually resultant in austerity measures for the masses, high cost of living, and mounting generational debt. We are facing that. We're still facing that wherever we are, whoever we are. This is what the IMF means to us. In our case in Jamaica, having nominal independence 1962, but still remaining a British Commonwealth member and constitutional monarchy. We're seeing this over 4 generations of our black masses experiencing and continuing to experience persistent poverty, landlessness. Friend cannot be seen as our friend. International Monetary Fund is an enemy to the people of Jamaica. The International Monetary Fund is an enemy to the people of Africa. The International Monetary Fund is an enemy to developing countries. The international migrating, nurses are migrating, doctors are migrating, engineers are migrating. There's a brain drain on the island. And we see the same migration from the Ministry of Finance. It is no big deal. It is not a big issue for us. It really doesn't mean anything one way or the other. We told you a long time ago that Dr. Clark served and was serving the interest of the colonizer and the enslaver, that we told you a long time ago, do not look at the Prime Minister, look at the Minister of Finance. He is the one who was in charge of implementing and cementing the neoliberal agenda in Jamaica. We told you a long time ago that he was succeeding at that. We told you, look at Dr. Clark, because Dr. Clark was more aligned to the Bretton Woods institutions. We told you that in this space. We told you in this space that Dr. Clark was also more aligned to the policies and the protocols coming out of the World Economic Forum. This is no surprise to us. For him, it is a well-deserved promotion because he has done such a brilliant job of implementing the neoliberal agenda, which is the death knell of African people, the death knell, which rings the death knell of Jamaican people wherever we are, the neoliberal agenda which is being rolled out across the continent of Africa, across developing countries, and more so perfected in Jamaica. If I were the enslavers and the colonizers and the neo-colonizers and the settler colonizers and so on, I too would have signed off on a massive promotion for Dr. Clark. He deserves it. He has done a pretty good job at implementing the policies of the oppressors onto the oppressed. We still remain the oppressed. I don't know how the oppressed is rejoicing that the policies of the oppressors, which have been so well implemented in Jamaica by the agent of the oppressors. I don't know how you manage to celebrate that. But, wonders never cease. It is what it is. Once again, he deserves all the congratulations. If you, depending on the lens that you're looking at it through, he's done a brilliant job of implementing the neoliberal agenda. He's done a brilliant job of implementing the policies and the agenda of the Bretton Woods institutions, the IMF, and those who would continue to enslave us, the neo-colonizers, the colonizers, the settler colonizers, and the oppressors, and we remain oppressed. Many of our leaders have been lured into the IMF debt trap. It is a debt trap. And we see, as a result of our leaders being lured into this debt trap, many of us have been entrapped. This has entrapped us, the majority of us citizens, in an inescapable web of deception, delusion, distressed, and diseased situation, and causing many of our youth to run amok into gangs, into crime and violence, and an unhealthy mental state of wild abandonment, risky behavior, and haunted by uncertain fortunes and an uncertain future. We would therefore be ill-advised to hold our breath, to wait to exhale, in the hope that Dr. Clark will be able to influence or impact the remit of the the International Monetary. They hardly even build housing schemes anymore. When last I see a housing scheme going up, affordable housing for the working class, that is gone through the door. Yet they say that this is prosperity. They say that this is a good period. They say the Minister of Finance has done his very best. And this is the narrative that they want you to buy into. They spin this narrative. They want you to buy into it. A lot of Jamaicans have bought into it. Let us stop and do some deep thinking. Let us throw the critical thinking through the door. For us, it means nothing. Let us do deep thinking. Think about ourselves, where we are. Think about our communities. Think about our families. How many persons in your family right now can afford to buy a piece of land? Truthfully, you have no opinion, no right to an opinion on Dr. Clark. And I know that I'm sounding all domineering right now, but sometimes it calls for a little bit of that, all right? Let us ask and answer. I know that students who are leaving the University of the West Indies, who have left last 5 years, last 10 years, a lot of them have still not yet found a job. In addition to that, most of them have moved out of the University of the West Indies, moved out of the housing on campus, and have moved right back into their parents' home. into their parents' rented homes. This is our reality on the island. We cannot afford land, so we talk about landlessness. We cannot afford homes, so we talk about homelessness. If you can't afford to buy a home, you cannot say you have a home. So we have to redefine how we view homelessness. If you're renting somebody else's home, it is not your home, you're homeless. If we begin to look at the isness of things, because it don't matter if the home is in Jacks Hill, is in Beverly Hills, is in Tivoli, if it is in St. Anne's Bay, if it is in Port Maria, it don't matter where, in the Junction, it don't matter where the house is. If it is not your home, if you not buy it and a for your house and the land it depend, you buy it and whether you're paying mortgage, yes or no, you are homeless if you're renting somebody else's home. This is our reality on the island in Jamaica. And there are many who would want to buy a home in Jamaica. It's not that you don't want to buy a home. It's not that you want to buy a piece of land, whether it is to farm the land or whether it is to build on the land. The bottom line is that you cannot afford the land. Let us start there to determine whether or not successive finance ministers have done a good job on this island. What does it mean to do and have done a good job? Now we have to be honest with ourselves. I tell my daughter every day, this above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as a night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man or any woman or any boy or any girl. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as a night the day. Thou canst not then be false to anyone. Congratulations to Dr. Clark. He's just moving on the trajectory that he has set for himself. He's been working for the enslavers. He's been implementing their agenda. The neoliberal agenda is well implemented in Jamaica. We saw when he started to do that. We told you to watch Dr. Clark. Remember, I told you to watch Dr. Clark. He was implementing the neoliberal agenda. He was implementing the agenda of the enslavers and the oppressors and the Bretton Woods Institution and the IMF. Here we are. He's been rewarded. Let us congratulate him. All the best to Dr. Clark and his family as they make their way into the belly of the oppressor. We have nothing to be proud about. The IMF is our enemy, remains an enemy, will be our enemy until we die and come back. Absolute pleasure to welcome my guests in the studio. Just pull the microphones to you, please. My apology. This one, I don't think that one is working. Just pull the microphone. We're doing this on air, so just to set up the studio. But they're in for this segment of the program. We're going to be talking to my very special guest now. Then we'll take a break and have a quick chat with principal of Belmont Academy, and we'll come back to our guest in the studio. So Rayan Simpson will be on the phone in another 10 or 12 minutes or so, and then we come right back to our guests in the studio. And my very special guests in the studio, you've heard me talking about them. So their names are Warren Oliver Shannon and Ali Grant. I do not know those names. I prefer the other names. So let me say good morning. Greetings, how you doing?
Greetings.
All right, so you're not hearing me? All right. Greetings. All right. So could you pull a microphone to you, please? This microphone here. Yeah, the middle one. Could you pull it to you, Kalaloo man? Yeah, pull it straight to you. It can be pulled straight to you. All right. Are you hearing me?
Not hearing myself. Not hearing yourself.
All right. So we'll come and set that in a little while. Are you hearing me, Open Aki? All right. Just speak in the microphone if you're hearing me.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go sort out the microphone and everything else. Let me just do this while I take a quick shift from here and go to sort out the microphone. Give you the names on their birth certificates. So Warren Oliver Shannon, who's Kalaloo Man, Ali Grant, who's Open Aki, and we have Honeyman. And Honeyman's, your name is?
Denzel Brown.
Denzel Brown. All right, so I start with you. Our listeners would have heard me talk about these brothers before. One of my absolute pleasures was to just have a conversation with them briefly, and then also to listen to the music that they have been creating in the studio. Just a little setback with the music this morning, but we're working on it to see if that is available to us. We'll definitely play it as we go. But I want to start with Open Aki. Open Aki, and the elder, the patriarch in the group. Greetings, my brother.
Greetings, highly greetings, in the name of Selassie the first.
Give thanks.
Yes.
A little bit about your background, Open Aki.
I gotta bless the place first.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Selassie is a shepherd, and I shall not want. He make a night to lie in green pasture, restore and I soul. Hey, though and I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I shall fear no evil. For I don't want to die and I rather than starve, we comfort I and I. Yes, he prepare a table for I and I. The present of I and I enemies. Pointed I and I edit precious oil, I and I cup full, yes, and run over. Surely his goodness and mercy shall follow I and I all the days of I and I life, and I shall dwell in the house of the imperial majesty, I Emperor I first King Selassie. Forever and ever, yearly my Selassie, yes, he's pure, yes, he's sure. There is no sickness that he can't cure, and he opens any door. Please open I and I door for I and I Rastafari. Please cure I and I sickness for I and I Rastafari. Bless God, protect and keep I and I going out and I coming in from the uprising of the sun to the setting of the sun. The wax is melt, smoke is driven wicked and far from I and I, as far as the east is from the west, as far as the north is from the south. You do wicked them. Uplift I and I in righteousness, don't fall I and I in a wickedness. Bless God, protect and keep you them after day. That's they change from their crooked way and live in one accord, one aim, one love and one destiny. Stop the killing of their brothers and sisters and live as one. Yes, Rastafari.
One aim, one love, one destiny. Thank you so much for that blessing, my brother. Much appreciated. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, because our listeners would have heard. So we have Honeyman, we have Kalaloo Man, and we have Open Aki, even though we've given you the other names, and I'm sure the people in your communities would recognize those names too. And so I start with you still, Elder. Your own background, you're all farmers here from St. Mary. You've been farming for how long?
From as a little youth, but from a little youth, because my grandmother, my grandfather, I grew up come see them I do farming, and I follow them right through go bush. See? So, but when I turned 14 now, I have to take it up. Because my mother and father have 9 away, and my father run left way when I was 14. So that was the younger way out. When I say at the age of 14, to survive my family, food. We have food on the table, so.
That's a big deal, isn't it? To start farming at the age, well, farming even before that, but to taking it up, take that up, take up the responsibility fully at 14 years old.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've been farming in the same place, in St. Mary all these years.
Yes, St. Mary.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, as a Rastafari, when did that happen? Was that a gradual recognition of who you were and who you are, or did that happen much later?
Time before I really realized who I was. Yeah, after I realized who I was.
Yes. So we're going to hear much more from you and from the brethren in the studio. I know I have to go to an interview in between. So let me just go through the introductions. Kalaloo Man, my brethren, how you do? All right, so Kalaloo Man not hearing me.
Yeah, man, blessed love.
Yes, greetings.
Greetings.
Right, so apparently you're not hearing me, so we're going to have to come back and get your headphones sorted.
Yes.
Could you give me some assistance in the studio, please, to get our brethren set up? All right, so you're also farming in St. Mary?
Yes, man.
How long now?
Well, you know, say from youth days too, but you want to know, it's like me used to work with my father. My father was a construction man. So me now grew up in a place near Epsom, and then me used to climb the tree them and pick the load off of the tree.
Yes.
So that was like we business where we would have do in our community, like how some people would have do selling and something like supermarket and everything there. So we know, me find out say I'm here the breadwinner for climb the tree them because nobody else no want to do it. So my grandmother had really drop out and my mother had kind of weak too, and she live in a Kingston. So me decided say I want to bring her planting and our little banana, our little something that go make sure taste our country food taste.
Yes.
Yeah, so me always plant a tree. So me go to town now and start the music and decide say me want something else different from the farming. Because we are youth, we never live nowhere, so we want to have somewhere. And me go so bam now and me eat a food at town, you know, the music. And me decide say 2012, 2013, me say alright, me a 40 year old, so me a come off of the street. And me decide say me a go plant everything what me want for eat in a life. So me start plant and me a plant and my white virgin friend tell me said plant like if I have 1 tree a day, that would be 365 trees for the year.
Wow.
Yes. So me now say, all right, me go plant 10 trees a day then.
Wow.
Yeah, because me want more than 365 trees for the year.
Wow, trees.
Yeah.
So you did?
Yes. So me kind of, right now, me have about 300 coconut.
Wow.
Right now. So me say that as one lifetime savings. When me I said the next 10 years if me still live on earth, me know say me can feed myself, feed someone else, and feed the next person.
You know, I love that. And this is
Yes.
something that I want you, when you come back after we finish talking to Ryan Simpson,
Yes.
is to look at, is to kind of extend that out some more so our listeners know how to do this, give them
Yes.
some ideas as to how to do it. Because can you imagine that idea of planting 1 tree
Trees
per
a day,
day?
yes.
We love that, you know. We
Yes.
really, really love that.
1 trees a day.
All right, so Honeyman, quickly, just how long now you're bee farming? In bee farming?
Sister,
Yes.
used to do bee farming when I was much younger.
Yes,
Go with my father. He's the more professional.
yes.
Yeah, so what learn the trade and understand it, yeah. But I'm more like a businessman. I'm more like a businessman
So
right now.
So you're not farming anymore?
No, I'm more like a businessman right now.
What kind of business?
Selling, buy and sell anything.
Oh, but not farm foods and farm things.
No,
You're not
no.
farming we talk about this morning.
Yeah,
Farming we talk about.
yeah, but I'm not much.
You're not much
Of a
into the
farm,
farming.
no.
All right. So, but we still have to go and come forward because we're going to go to the phone lines. So stay with us because we just have a quick interview with the principal. I'm not quite sure if that call is in yet. Can you let me know of Belmont Academy, Ryan Simpson, as we look at the back to school, but also an event, the anniversary celebrations that are taking place today in Belmont, Westmoreland, Belmont Academy in Westmoreland. All right, so we're standing by for Mr. Ryan Simpson, principal of Belmont Academy. Let me know what's happening. Let me know. All right, in the meantime, Tam and Ira FM is a minute after 7 o'clock. So let me go back to Open Aki. So let's Open Aki, the name now, because obviously we hold on. I think we do have Principal Ryan Simpson on the phone lines, so we'll come back to you. Mr. Ryan Simpson, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kabu, and how are you?
I am well if you two are well.
Well, it's been too long.
Don't it? I kind of thought, I wanted to first you with that it's been too long thing, but anyway, you came out of the blocks really fast. So good on you for that one. This is like the Kentucky Derby business. So man, I know today is a busy day for you, and you're marking a milestone actually at Belmont Academy. Let's start right there. What's happening today?
Well, today marks the first day of the school year where we will be celebrating our 15th anniversary. So we will kick that off with a church service at Cave New Testament Church of God in Bluefields, Westmoreland. And thereafter, we will have our Founders Day on the 9th of September. But today it's all about giving thanks to the Lord and starting the school year.
Yeah.
Right.
What time does that start?
We start at 8 a.m. this morning. So,
right, which is in just a few minutes, actually.
Just a few minutes getting geared up to go.
Yes, I won't keep you too long. But let me just congratulate you, Ryan, because you've been doing such a brilliant job at Belmont Academy. Quickly, if you can, a minute or two, give us a synopsis of some of the achievements over the years at Belmont Academy, because I know they have been phenomenal. You yourself was last year named, was it last year or earlier this year, named Principal of the Year?
Well, it's the current year, but
okay.
The truth is the tribute goes to the team, the teachers and the non-teaching staff, as well as the students and parents who have committed themselves to excellence. So over the years, we have, gone up in the CSEC ranking, where in 2016 we first entered the big three, where we had 93% of our students passing 5 or more inclusive of math and our English. We were ranked 13th at the time. And if anyone thought that was a fluke, last year, 2023, we were ranked 14th again. So that is an indication of, what we have done for the young people, coming in with very ordinary scores, but leaving with commendable efforts. We have also been identified by the Patterson Commission as having the best value-added sixth form program on the island. So, again, credit to the team for that, and we are grateful.
Yeah. It is brilliant work. We talk about Belmont Academy a lot in this space. The work that is happening there, and you always go to the team. But the leadership is critical, isn't it? Where does this come? How do you and the team manage to do this and to keep the school progressing in this on this positive trajectory? At the same time, we're seeing so much more happening in the education industry, the high schools in particular, that would almost be anti what you're doing there at Belmont. What is it that you're doing right that some others are not getting?
Well, the truth is we have our fair share of challenges and disciplinary issues. We have our fair share of that, and I would not be truthful if I were to come on this program and not upfront that. But one of the main things we do is we ensure that we create a safe space at our school. We want our young people to know and understand that irrespective of what's happening in the society, we can be the change agent. And we depend on them to go out in the society and make a difference. So we take an approach where we believe that every child can learn. It's not just the mantle of the ministry, but it's ours as well. Every child can learn and every child must learn. And once you come through our gate, it's a different situation. If it is not that you practice that positivity on the outside, we demand it of you until you get it right, and you can also pay it forward when you go out. One of the other things that we do is, I was sharing with you recently, that we believe that we can complete the high school curriculum in 3 years, because when you are behind, you can't do things the same way. So we make a big effort to put our students in their respective subject pooling from 1 year early.
Yes.
So in the regular high school, you would start a subject pooling in grade 10. We give you that from grade 9. So we expose you to the curriculum, and we give you more time to practice.
Yeah. And the thinking about is critical, isn't it? That to know and to understand and then to put into action this idea.
Yes,
that
implementation is always the most difficult,
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So we make a happy weather about that. We, as you would have known over the years, we place great emphasis on mentorship. So we believe that there's a community of learners that exists, and we have a duty to each other.
Yes.
So the students who are performing well, we always assign them mentees so that they can show the students who are not doing so well how they do it. And we find that has been a very strong indicator of success.
So the culture is developed over time, and you're celebrating 16 years. Yeah. So
that is certainly the intent. Absolutely.
Critical. Let me congratulate you on the work you've been doing there and the team. Brilliant. I know you've been in the news recently because there are other issues that you are concerned with as not just a principal of one school, but as a teacher in the education system in particular. We saw you rising to your feet. It's all in the newspaper and all over the news on a point of order. But listen, we respect you for that, in a serious way. When we hear the story of so many of our leaders, and one in particular who raised his hand in the court to say, I have something to say. I can't remember who. I've got to talk to Professor Varian Shepherd to remind me who it was who was dragged into court, one of our freedom fighters. And, they were going on, and he raised his hand and said, I have something to say. And I've never forgotten that. I have something to say. You remind me of those leaders who raise their hands at a time when you don't expect them to raise their hand or get up on their feet and say, I have something to say. So,
the reggae artist Chronic said it best. We do it for the love and not for the light.
Yes.
I really do believe that integrity is something that leaders and people in general ought to practice.
Yes.
And so, therefore, wherever I see injustice, it irks me whether or not it is affecting me directly. And so, as a consequence of that, I have always believed in speaking truth to power, much like your forum, the African Forum is about.
Yes, of course.
So, I don't even take any great credit for that. I think it's a duty and a responsibility of every human being to have integrity and to speak truth to power and to look out for justice. So,
yes, without apology.
Yes, absolutely.
So what are some of the most challenging issues, if you can name 2 or 3 of them, before we let you go, and what are some of the possible solutions you think to those issues as we go into this new year? School year, that is.
Kabu, it is important that we look at statistics, because it's not just that you are a pusher of numbers, but it is an indicator of what you have done and what you're likely to do. And currently we see that there is an exponential dip in our PEP and our CSEC performance nationally. And that is something that we ought to be concerned about. And I'm particularly concerned about it, against the whole conversation about macroeconomic development in our country, where on the one hand we are told that the country is growing exponentially on a macro level, but we have not invested anything in education, particularly for the student per capita allotment for 8 consecutive years. Since 2016, our schools have not gotten a dime in terms of the student per capita intake. And so many of our principals have had to discontinue programs that work to help to re-socialize students. And we have also had to shelve programs that we had in our development plans because we just cannot afford it. And so against that background, I think it is important that we take a real serious look at how we resource education, because if we are not doing that, then we are on a spiral downward trend. So the resources is going to be critical. I quite admire the ministry's approach and the response to burial, because I think that many of our schools who have been considered to be among the tier 1 critical have gotten some level of assistance. And it has been faster than we are accustomed to. So I give credit where credit is due. But it is still important that we give very good attention to the whole business of conditions of service, not just for the teachers, but for students. We talk about salaries, but the conditions within which our professionals and our students are returning this September is something that we ought to be concerned about, because there are leaking roofs, there are trodden down fences, there are inadequate resources, furniture, all of those things. So we need to be keen on those things. And of course, the perennial issue, the issue that has become perennial for the last 10 years, is a massive and severe teacher shortage. Right now, I'm starting the school year without 7 teachers of very critical subjects, and that is the same for even schools close to you, such as Brownstown. York Castle is short as well. And when you look at the picture right across the island, we are at an all-time low. The reservoir has run dry in terms of the teaching capacity over the years, and particularly this year.
This is critical, isn't it? And especially when you take it in light of the first thing you spoke about, in that the lack of resources within the school. You see a downsizing of that. Are we, the general public, are we underestimating how serious this teacher shortage situation is, do you think?
I'm not so sure if it's underestimated. I think the society has gotten to a stage where we don't care too much about teaching and teachers anymore. We are not an empathetic society as we used to be. So some of the things that should really be of concern to us, we don't really pay enough attention to. But I mean, any society that is going forward that is not concerned about classrooms that are not manned by responsible human beings is not a society that is going to be progressive, you know. And the reality of the situation is that we have had COVID, which would have contributed to, an exodus of students out of the classroom, because a number of our students did not return post-COVID. But in addition to that, the learning was minimized significantly, because you and I would have had this conversation before. Technologically, we are nowhere close to where we need to be. So if we were having online classes, it is evidential that the students would not have been served as they would be in the regular classroom space. So against that background, Kabu, it is important to note how critical it is to have teachers equipped, trained, qualified, and responsible teachers in the classrooms. And we need to do something about that, because you and I would have had on this very program many conversations about teacher shortage. But I want for you, as one of the responsible journalists in Jamaica, to just think about one initiative that you know about that has been implemented to address retention of our teachers. Just one. And that for me is the area that we are so lacking in, because we do a good talk on the platform, but we don't plan and we don't implement the plans that are necessary to move the country forward. We have been having this conversation for 7 years.
It is true, and it gets progressively worse. And this is,
and it gets worse. It gets worse every year. And now we are talking about importing people who can't even speak English. And I'm not a proponent of speaking English, but cultural relevance is important to the classroom space. So we're having that conversation now, which is a haphazard conversation, by the way. And we still have not done one thing to address teacher shortage in the Jamaica classroom space. We haven't.
Yes. There's been a phenomenal failure in that regard at the Ministry of Education over the years, because this is something that has been happening. We see the brain drain from the ministry, from teachers moving out in droves. And we were warned by the teachers. We've had many discussions in this space with teachers who have said, listen, teachers are not necessarily speaking out aloud, but they have already put plans in place to move out, because and it's just to survive. So we understand that, and the point you're making is that nothing has been done to retain.
Nothing has been done
to retain the teachers.
And the truth is, people will go where they are able to make a living. I mean, even the person who led the charge for the compensation review has seen it fit and necessary to leave the Jamaican space to make a better living. You can just imagine the plight of the teachers who have to share their salary with students just to have them go by each day.
Right.
So it's important that we put some emphasis on these things as a country. You know, as a country, we need to.
You know, once again, is a conversation we've had before. Here we are at the beginning of another school term, school year, having the very same conversation. I know that you're in the space, shouting as loud as you can, and not just shouting, but putting in the work at the school that you lead. So congratulations on that. But there needs to be the backative, there needs to be the support coming from the ministry. We hear a conversation now that the minister might be changed. We don't know if it is true. Might be seconded or literally be the one to go to the Ministry of of Finance permanently. We don't know. But then again, what would that mean also for this process ongoing process outside of burial, COVID, and the dire situation that we face now with the teacher shortage? What's your own thinking on that?
I'm not so sure that it will be material. You know, there are persons who believe that our minister has done very well, and there are persons who believe that she has been way below what we would have expected. What we also know is that she was at the Ministry of Finance before, and I think she carried herself well when she was junior minister. So I think that if she has now gotten some experience in education, and if she now returns to the Ministry of Finance, then she should be a friend in court, because she knows very well the challenges that we face as a ministry. So I'm not so sure that it's going to be material. We would wish her the best, because, I mean, you need all the well wishes going into a portfolio like that, if it is that is what will happen. So I really don't have any major concern.
I understand, and I like the point you made about her being a friend in court if that happens. Also, one final thing, because I know you have to go. So there's one final question. What's your thinking of? We hear the Prime Minister now coming out making statements regarding education. I said to my husband, looks like the Prime Minister is about to put himself back in charge of the Education Ministry. But then I went on to say, if that happens, maybe one of the good things out of that could be a further thinking of bringing in somebody like a Damian Crawford into the ministry of a kind of a Secretary of Education, and with his thinking. And I'm not a teacher, obviously, but I hear what he's saying. Not just making this be a political thing, but putting people in the space that can do it. Putting a commission in a committee, for example, including yourself and others, bringing in a Damian Crawford, even if he is the nominal head. What's your thinking on something like that?
Well, you know, I've listened to Damian Crawford before. I know that he has a good talk. I don't know if Damian is the one that is making the argument about putting in persons who know it, then certainly I would not be one to support his placement there, because I don't know that he knows it.
Okay. Okay. Well, let us forget Damian. Let us say somebody
in tourism.
Yes. Let us forget Damian. Let us say somebody from the PNP. Right. You know, making it a bipartisan effort.
So that's where I prefer the conversation to be, because I'm not really identifying persons.
Yes.
I think that as a society, if we are serious about democracy, and we're serious about bipartisan movements to get our people forward and to get education forward, that we have to use the talents that we have available. And it is not just the current government. Any government that is in office, we need to look at the persons who can get the thing done.
Yes.
And certainly, if the talent exists on the opposite side, we ought to use them. I've always been an advocate of that.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
No, and thank you for that. I'm going to let you go, but thank you so much for that. You have in this space, and this is something that I think we can throw out this morning, even as we see all of this upheaval, if you will, in the government because of the movement of or the promotion of Dr. Clark.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, you see, I'm a promotion, I can't find another word. But
it is promotion. I think the Minister of Finance is the second highest government official. So
yes, it's promotion. All right. Look here, thank you so much, Ryan Simpson, Principal of Belmont Academy. And you'll come back, of course, in the middle of a school term or just early school term. But today I know it's a big day for Belmont Academy. I know you're heading to the Thanksgiving service. And then later on, there'll be another event. Remind us of when that is and what's going to happen.
The 9th of September, we have Founders Day where we're inviting all of our stakeholders to come out and support us.
All right.
Before I go, Kabu, I'd just like to make a plug for anybody who is interested in teaching. If you're a retired teacher, a current teacher, or a prospective teacher, we are looking for people to teach geography, social studies, history, English language, and Spanish. And we also have a need for teaching assistants. So anyone has an interest, you can send an email to belmont.academy@moey.gov.jm. Thank you, Kabu.
Thank you so much. And I know you're a farmer. We didn't talk about the farming. We have farmers in the studio with us. I know you've introduced farming in a big way at Belmont Academy. I know yourself as a farmer, although you've been affected seriously by burial. But this is what we're segueing into right now, Rayon.
Thank you, and much respect to the farmers in the studio.
All right, give thanks. All right, Rayon Simpson there, Principal of Belmont Academy. And obviously today they're celebrating because they're 16 years and they're celebrating the Thanksgiving services today. And then you hear later on there are other activities coming up. We take an African. We still have with us in the studio a very special guest this morning, Open Aki, Kalaluman, and Honeyman, Warren Oliver, Ali Grant. And we're talking about farming generally, but we're looking at farming through their own eyes. They're also artists, musicians, singers. And I think we somehow managed to get some of the music onto CD. You heard it a while ago, right? But I'm not quite sure what happened because I can only play track one, which sounds like it might be the instrumental because I didn't go through it. But we'll see what happens as we go ahead. Let me do this, and you tell me if I'm on the right track.
That's the version.
This is a version, and that's the thing. So I'm trying to get to the songs, and it's only giving me the version. But anyway, however it is, we have the version right here. So which version is?
Well, the version, yeah, of the tune where we smoke the herb.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we have Honeyman Panetta saying, "True them not giving no justice."
Right.
And we have Open Aki as a running African.
And you see, and we want to get to those tracks, but I'm not quite sure what's happening this morning. But we'll try and sort it out before the morning is out. Hopefully we can.
Yeah,
we're working hard on it.
Yes, man.
So this is the version. So we're going to use the version as a soundtrack.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We're ready and live. You know, we don't want to feel like say we there. We can't sing with the on the song. So it has say, smoke the herb in the morning sun and not a pound when the evening come around. I won't leave until my ganja pipe is burned. Burn the herb in the morning sun and 10 pound when the evening come around. Me not leave until my ganja pipe is burned. Me smoke Alaska, Indica, Combona, marijuana. And me supply Kiki, Chinquita, and chopper. Sell the nurses, the doctor, the lawyers, the actor, the judge and the barrister, engineer and the contractor. Shipment to Daytona, Arizona, California. Me don't need no co-defendant, call me tried it as a loner. One call out of the phone, yeah. Buy me house, I'm gonna burn me chalice. A Jamaican bun the pope with the aroma bun the herb. Now the morning sun and 10 pound when the evening come around. Me not leave until what not curious man. Hey,
Man a running African, running African, running African. Hey! Now stop run now till I catch my. Oh! Now stop run now till I catch Africa. Live! Took us away from African civilization. Carry us to slave and them banana board and them sugar plantation. Say them want be little, oh, one nation. And create them Vatican City formation. But when Judge a lightning clap, I wanna do wicked job. You know I a bingy, hey. Come fi burn them out. You know I a bingy, boy. Come fi chase them out. Burn them on.
Well then, to them never giving no justice. That's why the youth them bust this. Long time I'm raging and discuss this. So we attack our politician, them worthless Lord. To them never giving a justice. That's why the youth them busted. Long time I'm raging and discuss this. So we attack our politician, them worthless. To me chat the truth, Babylon want rush this. Condemn I come with them, I come with this.
All right, so sorry about that, but the version went out.
Yeah, man, that's good. Sound good. Yeah, and greetings again, Jamaica people. Honeyman, Kalaluman, Oakmaki, and we there.
You know, me just like what you did just a while ago, no, because Kalaluman just said, what am I going like? It's like we can't sing on the version. Because as long as we have the version, we're good.
Yeah, as we have the version, we're good, because...
Yes, we love it. We love it. And really and truly, we love the music. Let me just tell you, we love the music, we love the lyrics, we love the work. As I listened to all of it and really, really enjoyed the farmer man them seriously on the rhythm. What's the name of the version again? You have a name for the version? No?
Yeah. What Naki, what you call the version?
Running Africa.
Well, him said name Running Africa.
Running Africa, name.
Because him are the real man for the rhythm. But I me promote the rhythm because I'm kind of sick, so me have to go in the street go do the work.
Oh, goodness gracious me.
So I kind of really now boss Kalaloo man, me a boss Wapnaki.
Openaki.
But
yeah.
me kind of a Kalaloo man, we never get a bus, but me kind of say, the bus, me in the bus, but me never really get a driver off of the bus. You understand? You understand? So...
We love. It's interesting because the name Running African, and honestly, I love it.
Yes,
I love it. I mean, you can tell someone love it without even knowing the name of it. You know.
Yes. So we really have to come find Kabu and say, all right, So we have a version where Bill a sang off your program.
Yes.
And him have a rhythm when name your program too.
Yes.
So you are the fittest one for really push out the energy.
Wow.
And Kabu, me I tell you, so me kind of rate you and love you and thank you. You come like my auntie, my cousin, them, my sister, them. Everybody to me went on the first time I meet you.
Yes.
Because it's like a blessing.
Give thanks, my brother. I mean, it's
real blessing.
Yeah, well, I said it on here, so you don't know it's kind of mutual. It's how to be. I mean, to same way and your family same way.
Yes, family thing. Yes, what me I say. And from long time, from Fuisin team, if I come talk to you, up at Portland.
Which one are the Fuisin thing them?
Fuis something up above, past Buff B and
the one we just gone the other day?
No, not the one there.
Okay.
When the first one, them with a keep when your motor just come up there.
Okay.
I think you give me a call upon them time there. And we kind of did respect the thing from them time there. But you to the music connection is a very hard thing. And me get the connection now, so me go show the respect.
Yes.
And do the best stuff.
We love the music, so we're gonna play the music. It's simple.
Yes.
It goes without saying. But so how you get into the business? Because these are your farmers, you're farming all of your life, and that's why I want to be my businessman now, but your business, you're part of the business of the music, right?
Yes, Sister Kabu.
Yeah, part of the business of the music, right?
Yeah.
So you say you buy and sell and stuff, but you're also in the studio.
Yes, music and selling are my main source of life.
Yes. So to the honey thing, because
Yeah, me grow up as a honey man because me peers them. You them my age used to call me honey man because my father used to raise a lot
the business.
of bees. Yes.
So who are raising bees them now?
After a time, a long
Just
time
raised?
ago now,
Yeah, okay.
I've other things to go, other places to go. So
Things to do want people to see.
Me is a thing need to get many attention, and if you are not there to give it that attention, you will lose.
But we
them.
notice that we're literally losing that business right now, the honey business.
Well, that's what I want to do. Set up back my bees business again.
Yes. What is causing it? Do you know why we seem to be kind of losing the amount of people we know used to be in this business? It's only a handful of people now you can find in any parish you're going. You have to search high and low to find a honey man.
Yeah, I guess some disease and thing coming.
At the GMO, you know?
Yeah, get rid of
the GMO, kill out the bees.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, at the GMO, serious business. Yeah. All right, Open Aki, why we call it Open Aki, Elder? Why we call it Open Aki? We love the name still enough.
Yeah, we're going. It was a man, them call Agi, but show me a Rasta, me I tell him, say, me don't love that name, me I call you Agi all the while. Me I give you a name, Wild Aki. But him there like that name there.
Yes.
So him start call me Open Aki.
Yes.
So I say, all right, man, since you like him, we take the Open Aki car. Anyway, me live a whole heap of Aki tree there.
Well, we love it. I mean, it resonates today. So from them time, so everybody call it Open Aki.
Yeah.
All right, we love it. And Kalaloo Man, I suppose it goes without saying why we call it Kalaloo Man.
Yeah, the Kalaloo Man now, how me name Kalaloo Man now, you know. It's like me go a town as Wiki Waki, I sing a song named Kalaloo Man. Yeah, so me go in at the studio mixing lab up a Rai Francis and Wicca Man lick Gaddafi on him shoulder and say, yo, change him name because of me first name Wicca Man.
Oh.
So them time the artists are fight for name.
So your name was what? Wiki Waki?
Wiki Waki.
And
sing Kalaloo Man song.
Yes.
But Wicca Man spat my producer upon him shoulder and say, yo, change him name because so much Wiki can't in the Waki. You understand? You understand? So me now go to Obama and say, all right, me a countryman and them a go give me a break and me the round elephant man, the whole of them scare them crew.
Yes.
Me a go accept because you know want to accept and then them push you out.
Right.
So me accept.
Yeah.
So as a bushman.
Kalaloo Man. And I thought it was because you're a farmer.
Yes, cause me done a farm already and me come in a town now to come sing the Kalaloo song because the hungry and the poverty. Cause you have green government. You see green government, when it a rule, green government come with a little poorness in it, where we have to go back to Kalaloo days.
Yes.
See, when red government run things, we can eat little chicken and little something.
That's how you go for true?
Yes, in a real life. Who don't know out there, don't know say green government carry you back to one somewhere name you better plant where you want to eat.
Okay.
Because things get a little bit tighter.
Okay.
Because some people don't know say all the way are the same thing. Brown people stick to brown people and black people stick to black people. But black people want in a brown people thing and brown people don't want black people in a them thing. So you are
so
the
tight
now.
Squeeze.
Yes, a nice squeeze. So you are the thing now. When a certain governmental rule is like say your food not enough because it have to go share for everybody. But when next governmental rule, everybody get food in them plate. So you don't have to share nothing because everybody have food.
I see what you mean. So you say, and this is your reality.
This is my reality
experience.
where me I come from because me was a part of the green government. And me find out say everything when me have to share it. But when the nether man come in now, me find out say everybody get some, so me not have to give away none.
Okay.
None of what me have.
I'm going to, I'm going to look into that more deeply and deeper at another time because the points you raised, because I understand clearly what you're saying. So as Kalaloo Man now, you were also planting Kalaloo?
Me plant Kalaloo. Me used to live at one place near Rome in a Maxwell Avenue. And when we go to town, me find out say more suffering did more than where me I come from. So the youth them bad. So me find out, so me couldn't join the badness. So me find a way of not join the badness. Me just work a farm in Kingston. And me find out, say, if you make the quick money, can me just come a town. Me have to plant a quick crop. So when me plant the tomato, me find out, say, me not get nothing off of it, because everybody really want to pick the tomato before it ripe.
Everybody want, tomato.
Yeah, you understand? So when we get the callaloo now, it's like the callaloo, you can't pick it till everything come in a one.
Right, yes.
So me get a eat out of that now.
Yes.
So when me go, so me cut the wall of the bungalow one time. And then me just turn in a half a tree. And say, callaloo, 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 jungle callaloo, uptown callaloo, downtown callaloo. And after me sing the song, me the hungry still, you know.
Yes.
At them time, they me a plant when me sing the song, you know.
Which song? The same callaloo song?
The same callaloo, because...
Callaloo. So give me a piece of the song. They want back the version? Me don't know if
no, the rhythm, it come out from the rhythm where I say, where I say, what this boy you like?
Oh, yes. No, but me not have it. So anyway,
so me can still sing it, man.
Yes.
So me I say, callaloo man, see me a come here with the callaloo basket, me a good on a town, yeah. Callaloo man, see me a come here with the callaloo basket, me a good on a town. Callaloo me a sell, run come buy some. Nah, buy your chicken back, up a miss a chung. Nah, yam your fry, nah, your bun. Nah, yam no pork, nah, drink no white rum. See the liver there, nah, yam done. See the pork there, nah, yam done. See the steak there, nah, yam done. Callaloo me a eat, so help me eat some. Callaloo man, see me a come here with the callaloo basket, me a good on a town, yeah. Callaloo man, yes, over, you know.
So me never quite sure me if it's 30 or bogle, but me not.
Yeah, them time they are worthless boy, man.
Worthless boy.
Yeah, them are worthless boy. So it's like say, worthless style now is like say, panda rhythm there, everybody sing about girl.
Yes. So
yeah, and them say, oh, you come and sing about vegetable pan girl rhythm.
Yes.
But me kind of come from one place where me know say my people them send me out to come do music. To one place near Epsom in St. Mary. And them never know them song the way them the artists their town a sing. So them send me out with consciousness, because church people me kind of grew up with.
Oh, so you get, we hear the kind of churchical kind of thing, you know. Yes, we hear it.
Yeah, so we kind of...
I mean, hear it in a justice too.
Yeah, justice have it too.
Yeah, true, we not get no justice. That you go up in a church too?
Yeah, me.
Talking in the microphone. Right, so you grew up in a church, only be?
Yeah, I was...
We not hear you talking on the microphone.
Yeah, we grew up in a church as a youth.
Yes, which church?
A church as the firstborn in a not to be.
Right, because
the Glad Tidings Church of the firstborn.
Me hear the Glad Tidings in a true, we don't get no justice, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, I me hear me hear. Which church you know, Callaloo, man? Which church you used to go?
The church we used to go.
You grew up in
Sabbath church, you know.
Sabbath church.
Saturday, you know, because we used to raise goat for the man who won the church. So me used to go to a bush with him. So it's like, say, on Saturday, you know, he drape me up and carry me because the community is bad. And me kind of little bit get trouble too.
Yes.
Yeah, so in kind of that tell me, say, you have something, boy, you come with me.
Yes.
And me go with him and me get an extra dinner for that.
Yeah. So Open Aki, how long you in the music business as a farmer?
I'm a long time in the music business for me, a little boy.
You see there? So you start out in the music around the same time you start out, you take control of the farming?
No, the music business come. You see, me have an auntie, you know. But him love Jim Reid. So when me about 3 or 4 in them time, every hungry Sunday daytime, she can't get the Jim Reid, so she will write it and sing down the song. So meanwhile she write it, me I learn it.
So which one of the Jim Reeves them?
I was convicted, convinced, and condemned. The trial was over, and now my terms begin. Is this the way of telling we've been true? Well, all I'm guilty of is loving you. Loving you.
Nice.
And now I'm losing you. Losing you. For things I didn't do. You were the judge, the jury, all in one. You found me guilty, and now my terms be gone. Is this the way of telling we've been true? Well, all I'm guilty of is loving you.
We love it. We love it. My mommy tell us that we're loving it. Yes. That kind of remind me of my father. Like, him always sing a song named Tell Me a Lie. I don't know who sing the song named Tell Me a Lie, but him always sing that song there. But that's just before he was Christian, just before people get to me now.
You want to hear a lie? On the radio.
So when my auntie write it and she hear me sing it as a little youth, because me just when she write it, me just listen to the words when she has said.
Right. So this is how you kind of locked into the music.
Yes,
so what was your first song? You can remember your first tune?
Yeah.
We're there.
All right, let me see. There's a call going on the ear, so I'm going to take the call off of the ear. All right, you hear me open, okay?
Love that. What you mean nice station?
Yes, no, hold on now. Hold on there, Kalalu, man, because I need to turn off your mic, but I'm not quite sure which mic you're on. You hearing me open, Aki? All right, yes. Let me hear you open, Aki. Talk again.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, give thanks. I call Kalalu, man, on the phone, you know, and we're here. Listen, all your caller come out on the ear, you know, because you're talking on the mic. Yes, Kalalu. Yes, open, Aki. Do you remember your first tune?
Yeah, Serious Time.
Mm-hmm. You can't sing a little piece of me here?
We're living in a serious time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Serious time. A serious time. Hey, serious time. Whoa, a serious time. Hey, you see we're living in a serious time. Where the system blow the people's mind. And nowadays youth them a turn to crime. They keep on killing from time to time. A serious time. A very serious time. Hey, you know they can't stop this killing. No. They've made things gone too far. We're now looking to our world. Because we're living in a serious time. Yes, I not see the system blow the people's mind. Nowadays, you them turn to crime, killing from time to time. Well, American and the Russian, them turn friend no man. The Englishman and the Germans, them turn friend no man. Down in Africa, them always a kill out the black man. A serious time. A very serious time. Yes, serious time. Yeah.
Yes, we love it. And thank you so much for that. You know, the lyrics written so long ago and yet come like it just written for today. You know,
It's a go on same way.
It's a go on same way. You know, wow. All right, so in studio with me, Open Aki and Kalalu Man and Honey Man. This is a serious time, and it's a serious good time because we're having good times while we're talking about serious business. Farming is at the foundation of all of it because we're talking to farmers this morning. Kalalu Man sent me a video just walking through the farm, and we're going to take a quick break and come back and talk about that. tell me about what you're farming now, Open Aki. What's on the farm now?
Well,
right now, you see, man, I just sow some sucker and them thing, the seed, me secure seed and sow them, and I just give them to you to a farm. Because you see, when I just did start out in a farming, it was Michael days when him say Eagle and say Eagle hand. Seeing, so enough youth used to follow back on me.
Yes.
And I just help them, and we give them there, I help them chop down and I help them park up, dig plant and plants.
Where in St. Mary you're farming now?
Another Bay.
Another Bay.
Yeah.
And Kalaloman, you're farming in Epsom, which is...
me kind of make my own world. Me make a place named Patient Hill.
Yeah, yes, of course.
Take on about 200 acre land.
Yes, and you are walking through, thank you for the video. I love it. Dark. Yes, it's about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
that is a new farm.
It's a new farm.
Yeah, that is like, it's true, this time blow down the plant walk. Come live on top of the hill. So we'd have an original farm before that.
Right.
So every time you deal with plant and banana, you have to plant a new farm.
Yeah. Oh.
Because the whole root still in the ground. So when you plant back in that, everything turns.
You have to break up the fallow ground.
Yes. So you have to move away from that.
Yes.
Cut a new land.
Yes.
And then start back with a new set of dirt.
Yes.
So plant and banana is more standing food in St. Mary. We don't plant Irish and them type of thing.
No, we're not the Irish.
Because we don't get a level land.
No.
And the level land of the big man then control it up here.
Yes.
See?
Really?
So me plant like pine. Me plant East Indian mango. Can me find out the St. Mary should have planted something a long time.
True.
So me I say.
But in them areas I hope a long mango, don't it?
Yeah, I will have the long mango.
But long mango the best mango still,
Me know, but that me not have to plant that because that they like 100.
Yeah, that they are store dog,
now.
really long mango, true.
But 100 and odd years.
Yes.
So we don't have to plant that. We need market for that.
Yes.
We need the government build one factory, give we?
Yes.
That's we can juice things.
Yes.
Freeze things.
Yes.
And have things.
Look like a way for go build our own factory,
Yes. And we can do that too.
Yeah,
so private man can do it too.
Yes, we can do it.
You have now it's like business still one way where the big man own all the business. So if you go build a factory, then you have to go join the big man too.
And you get squeezed out too.
And you get squeezed out. And then if you even squeeze in, then you're on the poor and a friend again.
See me?
The poor man and you're on a friend again.
Yes, I get the point you're making. And I see how the chick, may you go talk again about these things, because these are some serious things you're talking about.
And again, Kabu, me growing all community named Labyrinth in St. Mary, where my people ain't come from.
Then you know thing there, Labyrinth. Me write one whole book about Labyrinth and I wait for publish it, A story where my grandfather tell me about Thaddeus Hyatt.
That's why I tell us, you look like we are family.
What you answer to me?
Yes, sir.
That's why I tell you that.
Yes, we're going to have some...
My grandfather, Williams, him name.
But we're going to have some conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to have some serious conversation. Because my grandfather tell me about a story, a man named Thaddeus Hyatt.
Teddy Hyatt.
That
time I little boy.
Right.
About 2 years or so.
Right.
They hide me on our house bottom.
Yes.
But it wasn't troubling a certain people him did a kill, because it's like him go up on farm work and send on him money, and the people them eat out him money when him come down back, him not have no money. So him did a kill out the set of people them there.
Him chop from the base to the treble.
Yeah.
My grandfather said him smell the blood from out of the hole, man. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. And I follow, even the trial, he was tried in Port Maria.
Yeah.
And I read the transcript of the trial and everything. Yeah. But this is a story, this is an age-old story in Jamaica, of men going abroad on the farm work and so on, working, sending their money back home to people to build, and them coming in for build, but when them come back, not build, and people go crazy. And Thaddeus Hyatt was one of those who went stark raving crazy and grabbing machete and just go through town. And this
it was that.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was that make him start the killing car.
Yes.
When my auntie used to work at Orchard, so when she come in, him pass Hyatt on the road come in. And him not trouble my auntie. So when my auntie come in, and my grandmother said to her, so you come and him not kill you. He must say himself, I look for him people, them you don't him money. And the people, special people, him a kill.
Yeah, you know, it's a story that is told over and over and over. I have written an entire book on it that now that I'm talking to you, I'm going to revive, because it's an exact story that I wrote about and I hear you saying it now about what caused him to go off the rails like that.
Yeah.
But so Labyrinth is where you come from originally?
Yeah.
Okay.
My body that one little out down there. See?
So Labyrinth is in St. Mary. So Labyrinth is also a farming community.
Yeah. Because my band comes to people, them not talk about politicians and them things there. Them depend on themselves. Them not in a Babylon pen them.
Yes. And this is how we are as a people, you know. It's just that as Kalaloo man saying, no, where we have come, which what we and as we come, which what we're going back to in terms of some serious level of backwardness, is that when we go out as a community, there are so many obstacles that's put in our way, and we have to talk about these. And him talk about the brown man versus the black man. That is a very serious thing in Jamaica in terms of business, manufacturing, and farming in Jamaica, where the brown man control the avenues, to survive through farming, and the black man is the enslaved labor. Literally, we see it with coffee, we see it with banana, we see it with coconut, we see it with everything. And
the rich man come take over the coffee and now.
This are just over there. So I think these are issues that we have to face seriously as a nation, because we cannot continue with the colorism where we have the private sector with them boot in our neck every single way we turn.
Yeah. Kabu, you know, say me not gonna keep it on show because me couldn't get to support the people and we don't want to go. Yeah, because you have no, I only cotton alone left.
All right, your mic now. Check your mic now. Maybe it was off. Check your mic now.
Only cotton alone.
Cotton.
Only a cotton alone left for St. Mary right now for survivor.
What do you mean cotton?
You know cotton. You know cotton.
Them a plant cotton at St. Mary?
Cotton and wool, yeah man. I
that alone left for St. Mary plant now. No banana, no down there, nothing no down there for eat, and nothing no down there. The storm just come the other day and lick down everything. So I just the cotton weed that depend upon the people. Like 4,000 people work at cotton.
Or more.
Them a plant cotton at St. Mary?
Yes. Oh, 4,000 people work at cotton.
Sugar factory there.
Which part of St. Mary?
From Grazine.
Not a bit.
From Grazine to Epsom.
Where Grazine sugar factory there, the whole of them land are mostly cotton now.
You know, so me see the land, you know, even my daughter exclaim when we come from food thinking, you know, so wait, what happened to the land?
Yeah.
Them cut down the banana trees.
Yes.
So she's saying, I said, what happened to the planting trees, the coconut trees? So I cut them out, I cut them there.
Cotton dead now.
Coconut dead out.
Yeah, no, them spray them out. Them not dead out.
Young farmer them.
One set going to Robbins Bay.
Yes.
That's not dead out.
That not dead out.
About 50, 60
Mister them there, right? Yes, yes, yes.
Right. Coconut is not a thing with dead out. Cause all the way we are eat now, a St. Mary, is what great grandfather and grandfather planted. It's not our father, no, our grandfather.
Our great grandfather and grandfather.
Yes.
So this is what we are still reaping.
Yes.
We can't eat cotton.
No.
Anyway, me go have another conversation. Look here, you have to come back, you know. No, we just a start.
Thing, man.
We just a start.
Our work in
this is the introductory program.
Yeah.
Because we're out of time now. See that we're out of time, you know.
Yes, all right.
So yeah, what?
Yes.
Big up on that be people, them Cargill and all of them, Gilly, them Badras, them, all of them, King, Cisco, Assy, the whole of them and them, not to be a people, my love on the police, them, the nurse, hospital workers, them, everybody in it.
Aita Boreal, big up yourself.
Yeah, man. And same to me, man. Yeah, big up Dover Road. Yeah, man, Chuchu and my friend them. Yeah, the whole of Epsom, Father Locks. Yeah, man, and big up the whole of Markinstone too. Nata Bay too. Yeah, and the whole of Jamaica, cause Kalaloo man can't big up no special place.
Yes.
Because now me have to big up a Louis culture place up at Windsor Forest too. So a whole heap of place. And me can't call no name. So all of Jamaica, all of vibes, because we run out of time. Hear
Yes,
that?
we're out of time.
Bless up.
Tia, my sister, out of
Yes,
Natabia.
greetings to
Yes.
Natabia people and Natabia people and people from Hepsom, Enfield. Greetings to St. Catherine people, people like Akazal people, Little Portmore, Rencom, big up Jughead, Tyrone. Yeah, I just say there.
Yes, man. Big up Omali or Tia in Natabia, outside of Natabia. there.
And
Give
here,
thanks.
Sister Cabo,
Yes.
I want you to check out the issue about Marcus Garvey and Anatobia.
And Port Maria.
Yeah.
Me depend it, you know. Me depend it. So me and you go talk.
Yeah, because I never hear them say nothing about the Marcus Garvey father, they live at Anatobia.
Well, me never know some actually did live in Natabia.
Work on the sugar factory.
Oh, in a Natabia.
Yeah.
All right. And I know him spend a lot of time in Port Maria.
Yeah, and he used to preach a Cargill and mouth.
And him also used to come through Opwell, Marlborough, stop and drink water up at Beaumont. You understand? So we don't know. So Marcus Garvey was really in the areas where we come from. And that's why we're on the story. Thank you. I'm going to call you and we'll talk some more about the Natabia part of things, because we don't know about the Port Mary and the Marlborough and so on. Yes. Look here, honey man, Kalaloo man, Open Aki Elder, give thanks. Really appreciate. Yeah,
bless up yourself, Cabo.
And you too. And you
life
too.
Forever, long life.
Enough love.
Yeah, you're a warrior.
Give thanks.
Taki,
Give thanks.
Sam Shaw, Paul Boger. You're a real sister, Nanny.
Give thanks,
real
brother.
warrior.
Give thanks, Elder.
Gilly, the right pan in bed and now lay down and listen to you.
Gilly, greetings, Gilly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Him not left you.
Gilly.
My Sunday, him not go out till 11 o'clock, him left me yard after I hear you.
All right, Gilly, give thanks. I hope we'll meet you one day soon.
Yeah.
Enough love, Gilly. All right, thank you so much. Yes.
Up and finale, lucky job, the whole not to be a work.
All right, give thanks.
Bless up, sister.
All right, a farming, we're dealing with, the farming can marry to the music. And your sister, it married. Good right here. So, Open Aki in the studio, Kalaloo man in the studio. Give thanks to both of them. I think Kalaloo man, somebody said talk. All right, but thank you so much, my brothers. Thank you so much. Let's take a quick break. She has been a mother, a sister to this program forever. Met Yefine many years ago, a Yoruba high priestess. Here on the island in Jamaica, she's a spiritual coach, a cultural consultant. She has written her book. She's an author, a lecturer, a life coach, and president of Yefine.com Balanced Living. She's an ordained priestess, Yoruba high priestess. And believe me, one of my heartical sisters over the many years. Once upon a time, we used to send Yefine and me together. People always ask, what up to? Yefine sent me a card one time of two young girls, like about 12 and 13, look like them up to something. And she says, they remind me of us. And that is quite true. Because when you saw Yefine and me together, we were up to something. Ancestors' business we're talking about. We're either heading to the river, we're heading to the sea, we're heading to the water. We're heading for libations, we're heading for purification, we're heading for cleansing, we're heading for healing, for the transatlantic, the souls lost in the transatlantic journey and that transatlantic wicked Ma'afa. So we so much we have done together over the years. I'm not talking about no little things, I'm talking about big things. Yefine, my sister.
Cabo, my sister.
Yefine, no one knows why we're laughing like this, but we have to laugh because
that's all we can do is invite them to the chat and the laughter.
Yes, here we are. You were supposed to be in the studio this morning, but you know how ancestors work.
I mean, they were working.
Yes.
And it worked so beautifully.
Mm-hmm. So you got a chance on your way to the studio to stop and have a good hug with Mama.
Yes, my mother's 104. God willing, she'll be 105 soon. And so I just felt like I needed to be birthday with her, and I was cutting it short.
Yes.
And the ancestors made it that it was possible. I spent my whole birthday with her. Birthday cake and everything.
Yes, don't cut it short. Don't cut it short, because granted you were cutting it short to come and see your sister right here, so. But
yes.
Your sister understand. Yeah, Fina, my sister, it is such a pleasure to talk to you. We talk, off air, whether we do it online or we just like each other post or we say Siwia, but it's been a while since we've had a conversation. I was trying to remember when we met. It was 1990, how much again?
Oh my God, I can't even remember. I can't even remember. It's one of those things that we call egg bed, that you meet your people on Earth, and so the time and space is irrelevant. The fact that we connected, but it's been over 20 years.
Yes, it's plenty.
It's been over 24 years. It's been a long
it's
time.
plenty. It's plenty. And, I've said to our listeners that we've done so much together over the years because we connected on a spiritual plane long time. And one of the things that we recognized early in the day was that part of our purpose included the atonement, leading that atonement, which you did brilliantly on the island for those of our ancestors who were lost in the Ma'afa. So I said, we headed to the rivers, we head to the sea, we head to the water. And you have done so much of that on the island. Why was that so important at the time to do, Yerfina, to go to the water sources and to do those atonements?
Well, for me, of course, let me big up Kabu, because, you had this program that you were going from parish to parish to seal.
Yes.
And that just was my calling, because that was my connection. It's so important for us to look at Jamaica for what it is. It is one of the portals of revolution. If we look at the people all over globally, they have some kind, most of them, or a majority of them, or a lot of them, have their groundation in Jamaica. Shirley Chisholm. You have, of course, Bob Marley, but you have also our loving brother of the UNIA, Marcus Garvey. You have the head of the Osiris Society in America, which is a large group. His grandparents are Jamaican. My grandparents are Jamaican. You have Sunfire Foods. His grandparents are Jamaican. That is making a difference in life food. We have revolution. We have Nani. We have the revolution Bogo. We have so many revolutionaries that the energy comes and gives birth through Jamaica. So it's so important for us to always acknowledge that the all-inclusive, come to Jamaica, everyone love. That's not Jamaica. Jamaica are the people who, just like we're listening to the show, who's planting the yam and the yucca and the badu and all of the things that the people are going to eat. It's so important for us to remember that we have a common lineage. We all, every one of us, and my ancestors, my maternal ancestors, both sides, my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather on my mother's side, are Jamaicans. So coming back to Jamaica for me was just, and the way that I first started coming was not as that. I came as a tourist first. I came invited with Antoinette. It was years in the 80s. Yes. And so by the time I visit Jamaica, the connection that I have to Jamaica is to the ancestors. Is that all of us have this common thread. The common thread, which is revolution. Yes. The common thread is to uplift the people by letting our ancestors know that we did not forget them. Yes. Because we have a proverb that says, once your name is called, you're never forgotten.
Right.
So that's why, for me, it was always, and it's still very important for us to call the ancestors, learn how to pour libations. So I started doing classes and workshops and all of that at my house, up at the UA, all over. Yes. Pouring libation and invoking the ancestors and calling the ancestors
And
in
doing
so
all of these rituals across Jamaica. And this is something that so many of our listeners will remember, but so many are new to the space and speak to us all the time about the rituals that need to be done. And I've been saying to people that, you know, we've gone through the rituals. Yefine, the Yoruba high priestess, along with myself, along with Sister P, Sister Minnie, sometimes Nana Rita Marley, and so many others, that we have gone through every parish, and we have done these rituals to the ancestors, you know?
Yes.
And this was beautiful. Thank you so much for leading that process, Yefine, over the years.
Thank you. It was my job, my duty, my honor. And in the book, those experiences in the new book, The Living Shrine, I have them about the places that we went and the things that the ancestors manifested to us, where the people were dying, and then we did the rituals. And for a year, no one was were killed on the highway. We did the ceremonies when we got. Oh, it's just so much.
When you did that ritual at the waterfront, and all of the fish came in. I mean, I know those people fool me, Yefina, because we went to the waterfront downtown Kingston with Vereen Shepherd and so many others. There were hundreds of people there. And part of that was a ritual of atonement for our ancestors who were killed, who were literally were kidnapped and carried across the seas, and those who jump off a ship rather than live in slavery, those who died in the waters, those souls that's in the water. And I remember that ritual that we did with a massive ritual. That went on all day, actually. But we were there early in the morning, do you recall? Very early before day.
I remember, you know, we went the night before and we did the rituals. And some of the rituals, the people were like, that's doing all that. Yeah. So, you know, we did the work. It's in the book. It's in the book.
Program started at 6 o'clock, but ritual was done at 3 a.m.
Yes, it was 3 a.m. By the time the people came at sunrise, it was hundreds of people. And the people just, somebody said, look, the whole sea turned red.
Yes.
And people said, look.
Yes.
And the fish started jumping, and people started pushing towards me. I almost went over to the sea wall, and the Pulaya said, move. Yes. And Andrea said, move back. And because they were pushing, and they were crying and saying, touch me, Yayafini, touch me, Yayafini. And I had my echo, and I started touching people. They were bawling, they were crying. They felt their ancestors. I'm feeling the goose pimples right now.
Me too. I am full of cold bombs. Listen, because then somebody said, look in the water, and we saw hundreds of just the red, I don't know what color fish them there, and they just came in. And I remember that, by the way, that's where I met Bert Samuels. Bert, morning, sir, because you were crying. Noel Pottinger was crying. We did a ball over there, so people are all over there, and it was something else. And I feel really good about that day, because I think this was when we really connected to our ancestors and said, we are here in your stead. We are here on your behalf. I am my ancestor, and we will stand in our truth. We will speak truth to power, and we will ensure that the promise of emancipation is realized, and we bond this thing about independence. We will ensure that we become independent. And we made those vows downtown Kingston at the waterfront in the name of our ancestors. Feed my sister. Make a talk about your book. Because you're coming in the studio, you're going to come in the studio next week, right? Hopefully.
Dad, I'm going to be on the island for 13 days.
Yes.
So I'm going to be all over. I'm coming to the studio. You know, that's my family. That's my home.
I'm clearing the entire program for you. And I just like to say to our listeners to please get your questions ready. We're going to be opening the phone lines for Yefina. Yefina is an African spiritual and traditional religious high priestess. She is a Yoruba high priestess. She's ordained. She has written her book, The Living Shrine, her personal journey of discovering the divine purpose that has shaped her life. This is a book that you're mentioning here, Yefine. Thank you for sending me the link. I'll read it, and then we'll have a deeper discussion on Sunday next week. But let me take a quick break, and when we come back, talk to me a little bit about what's in the book, all right?
Okay.
So we take a quick break. line upon line, precept upon precept, and we're going to be opening the phone lines for you to have a conversation. I don't know if when Yefine comes on the island, she'll have time for consultations, but I know this is something that you also do. But let's talk about the book, my sister. This has been long in coming, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been 17 years that I've been writing this book. This is my third book. I wrote one, The Living Shrine, and the Household After Yoruba Spiritual Wellness. But this one is my actual memoir. It's a memoir and a textbook, but it's been 17 years. Yes. And it's apropos because it's 16 Odus in Ifa and it's 16 Odus, and then the final year is when I gave birth to it. It has been a very powerful story in that this is a book that is perfect for readers who are interested in African spirituality, but also it's just a book to know that when you are stepping into our ancestral way of living, thinking, eating, breathing, into traditional African practices, this is a book that's going to help you understand the power that you have within you, that your ancestors live in you, and that nature is our source of empowerment. Nature is what we call Orisha. Nature is the sun, the moon, the stars. All of those live within us. Water, earth. We have all of those potential. And so this is a book that's really from African. It's an interesting book for people who are interested in African spiritual tradition, the cultural aspects and spiritual heritage of the Ifa faith. But most of all, it is a book, my biography, my autobiography, and my memoir of my life as one of the foundations and one of the pioneers of the African spiritual practice and Orisha culture in the United States.
Yes.
As one of the founders of the African village way back when Jesus was in diapers. This is a book where my life is me coming to realize that God lives in us, that we are an emanation of God's presence and power. And so this is a book that covers from Odu. What is divination? Because, as you mentioned that I do consultation readings. I will be doing readings on the island. Yes. I do the power of knowing who you are, who I was as a child, how I first felt spirit, how spirit jumped me when I was a little girl, when I was 11 years old, when my mother left Panama. And the ancestors, I felt them, I saw them. I spirit what in Panama is what, like, we have like Kumina and Pocomenia Mal in Jamaica. It's the same thing that have ancestors took to Panama, and I witnessed that. I was not a member of the church, but I felt it. Whenever I was around it, I smelled it, I felt it. Then in the book we talk about the power of sacrifice. I gave my family history. Yes. I gave how we rejecting dogma, of the dogma of that I was raised in Christianity, and finding the spirit of God in African spirituality. Yes. How to embrace spirit. How the importance of African names. How we change our names. All of that. A Panamanian American. How it was. How I lived in polygamy. The village in Oyatunji. Yes. All of the things that make us African.
It's all
that
there.
Make us looking for a winning.
I'm listening
it's
to
all
you.
In the book.
I'm listening to you, and I recognize that it is all there. And I can't wait to read the book. I have it, and I'm going to be reading it this week until you're coming on Sunday to have that conversation. As you talked, Yefine, with just the 2 minutes that we have, one of the things that I'm reminded of is that you were front and center of the movement on this island for an acceptance of our African spirituality, and also some of the words we use now, like we say Oshun as if it's okay. It wasn't okay when you were saying it and we were saying it in this space. They were accusing us of all kinds of stuff. But now we say Oshun and it's all good. We say ancestor and it's all good. We say African spirituality. You were telling us about Obatala and Shango and all these things, and people were mocking us and literally seeing us as evil. And here we are now in a space where on the island so many have embraced the African spirituality. Isn't that phenomenal?
It's phenomenal. And I'm bringing my CD with me that is all over Spotify and all of that. It's dedicated to Obatala. Yes. So we'll be able to have the music, we have the story. and we will see that it's going to be a long time. We're going to let people in on some of the secrets of our friendship.
yes, all of it.
Yes, all of it. We're going to confess.
Yes, of course. We were up to good things, so it will be a good confession.
All good things. Yes.
I really miss you, and I look forward to seeing you when you come on the island. You said earlier that you will be available for consultation and divinations and readings.
And book signing. I bought some books as well.
And book
so
signing.
People want a book. I can book to sign. Yes.
So we'll hear more about that once you get here. Even before, send me the details and I'll be able to say what they are. But this was just an introductory call because your trip was interrupted, and it was nicely interrupted by ancestors. And you'll be in time to be in studio with us next week, Sunday. So I'll give you a final word, 2 minutes.
Well, it's just good to be back home. To be back home on the island. I arrived tomorrow, early. It's just so, I'm looking for the rivers. I'm looking to go to the sea. I'm looking for some good food. I'm looking to talk some patois in my only Panamanian patois way.
Yes.
I'm looking for all of the things that just connect me to nature. I want to go back to the cave.
Yes.
I want to do all of the things that make me connect to Jamaica.
Yes.
I want to just really walk where my ancestors walked, and I don't know them. I didn't meet them because they came to Panama like many Jamaicans came to help build the Panama Canal. But my ancestors, they grabbed me the first time that I came, and they honored me that my first grandchild, when it was time to be born, my daughter said, I'm not having this baby in America. My first grandchild was born in St. Anne. Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. Just before you go, Yefine, the name of the book is The Living Shrine. The Living Shrine.
Right.
Where can we get it? In the meantime, before you come in, where can people buy it?
You can download it. It's on Kindle. You can get it on Amazon. You can get a copy of it. They'll send it to you on Amazon. But you can download it as well. And if you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, all of that, you'll know everything about where I am on the island, and people can kind of come to see to get the book signing. But you can get them. You can download it on Kindle and walk around with it.
All right.
So you don't have to wait for it to be shipped or none of that. Or you can go to my website, yeyefine.com, and you can have a copy shipped out to you that is signed by me.
All right. See you when you come in, Queen Mother, High Priestess.
Yes.
Yeyefine.
Thank you. Kabu.
Yeyefine Efun Bolade. Thank you, my sister. All right. We'll see you next week.
Okay, bless.
All right. So that's Yefine, my sister, my friend, my dear friend. Yefine Efun Bolade, spiritual coach, cultural consultant, author, lecturer, life coach, and president of Yefine.com Balanced Living. She's an ordained Yoruba high priestess and will be coming in to the island. She'll be live with me in the studio next week, Sunday. We're clearing the entire program to have a conversation with Yefine. I wonder if she'll do some divinations live on air. I don't know. Wonder if she'll do some reading live on air. I don't know. Because she's going to do a spirit leads, right? So let's see what happens when she comes in. But she'll be available for consultations on the island. All right? You're inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running African, and we're going up to 8:30 now. Listen up. Top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4. Hot pick and cash pot early bird draws are coming up next. Time in Irie FM, 8:30. So we're standing by. Okay, here we go. Literally woke up to this devastating news that Jessica had transcended. It wasn't an easy news to accept. Sounded at first as if, no, phenomenal, can't be true. Sister P was one of the first persons who told me that Jessica had transcended. And it was shocking. Then we got the texts coming in from South Africa and from the Gambia and from Senegal and from the United States. And late in the night, there were some other texts that came in from our sisters here in Jamaica, just asking, did you hear, did you hear? And, you know, I know that for many it was, nah. I was just on a Zoom session in recent times with our sister Jessica. And I know she was heading to Senegal for the African Queens Festival. That's a festival that I was also invited to. Ole Matatal and others had planned that festival, and I didn't make it, but I know our sister Jessica made it. And that was just about 3 weeks ago. It wasn't so long ago. That's just a few weeks ago. And she was posting from Senegal and just having a good time. But when I heard that she had transcended, I went to check my messages and everything, because she's someone who keeps in touch. And I said, let me see if she wrote to me. Let me see if she sent me a message anytime. And she wrote to me openly on Facebook and so on. We correspond like that openly, as I do with many of my sisters. But there are times when she'll send me a WhatsApp message, and I go check for that, and I didn't see it. So let me just check to see if she commented on anything I said on Facebook. And interestingly enough, I was having a discussion with Shamara about how regretful I feel, because there's something that I do not do. I do not check Messenger or messages that come in privately on Facebook. That's a Messenger app. I do not use that app, so I do not check those messages. So unless someone says, I've sent you something on Messenger, check to see, and then I'll go. And so so when I went to her page, I saw that blue band, and I said, but this looks like there's a message there. So I clicked on it, and she had written to me to say she was heading to the United States, and could I get her onto the tribute to Mwalimu Marcus Messiah Garvey, because she was going to be in the region and she could easily just come in and then continue on her way. I didn't see that message. I know that she knows that I didn't see that message, because Messenger is like that. It tells you when the message has been read. And so this in a way has shaken me up more than anything else, because I kept saying to myself, if she had come into Jamaica, she would have been in Jamaica. And I know Jessica, she wouldn't have left Jamaica anytime soon. She loves Jamaica that much. First time I met her, she came in for an event on the island. She was sponsored by the South African government, and she came in for that event. And I remember we were sitting in my car just as she came from the airport, and we were just having a conversation. We'd met for the first time, and we just started talking, and just about everything. That was a long conversation, and I remember that at the end of her performance on that event, she was fully, as far as we were concerned, she was fully sponsored by the South African government. But let me tell you how much Jessica Mbangini loved Jamaica, that she came in, we thought she was 100% sponsored by the South African government. So, and this is what the government had said in all their documents and so on. But not quite. And so while everything else was paid for, her accommodation wasn't paid for. And she knew that coming into Jamaica. But she didn't tell us before. She said to me in the night when we had to scramble now to find a place, I said, come with me. And we stayed at the IRFM staff house. She said to me, my sister, let me tell you, I decided I was going to come anyway. I have to let you know this. I decided I was going to come anyway. I don't have the accommodations, but I knew that a sister would put me up. That's interesting about this is that, I could only put her up for so long. And, but we stayed at the staff house. And then I spoke to the management at IRFM and I said, okay, well, let us get her onto the Garvey event and we could accommodate her at Jamaica Grand, in Trias, which we did. And she was very thankful for that. She said, I knew that a sister would do this. And so she was on the island for quite some time until that ran out. And we said, okay, now we're going to have to say goodbye. You're going to have to leave Jamaica, Jessica. But I didn't know at the time that she decided not to leave Jamaica. And she called me a little bit after that when I thought she had gone to say, I'm staying with Mutabaruka. And so she stayed with Mutabaruka and Amber for how long, I don't know. But she did stay in Jamaica for quite a while until I think she really couldn't stay any longer than she left. And she's been back to Jamaica many times after that. I know quite a few times after that. And she's kept in touch. She's been on my program in the studio. She's kept in touch over the years. But Jessica was a praise poet. She was a liberator who used her voice for liberation. I am an African is a chant that we know her by, and she was in that quoting Thabo Mbeki, and she would, every time she goes to perform that I am an African, Africa is my beginning and Africa is my ending, she would give that credit to Thabo Mbeki as someone who had shouted that. We look around us and so much of Jessica is in Jamaica because she came in and she is a businesswoman. So the staff and the rod and the headpieces and the neckwear and so much of her is in Jamaica. I hardly go anywhere without my staff. That Zulu staff. Is something she gave. And every time I'm in her midst, she gives me something. She's either putting something on your head, or she's putting something in your hand, or she's putting something over your shoulder. And she said, you go, my sister, you go, my sister. And this is how I know Jessica Mbangini. This is how I remember her. I am scheduled to speak with my sister Olimata Tal, who carried her into Senegal just 3 weeks ago. So we've confirmed with Oli, but we're not getting Oli online now. So I'm literally just ad-libbing my way through until I get Oli online, because Oli Matatolo is one of the last sisters to hang with and to have a really great time with Jessica in Senegal. She was there for the African Queens event, and as I said, was invited by Oli. I introduced Oli Matatal to Jessica Mbangini, and that happened right here on the compound at IRFM at one of our tributes to Mwalimu. And they too stayed in touch. They too became very, very close friends. And this is what the sisterhood is like, is that we meet each other, we maintain these friendships. And even if we're not talking on the phone every day, we're reaching out from time to time, or we're connecting with each other in many, many different ways, including on the spiritual vibe. We've got a pretty strong sisterhood. We've got a pretty strong sister-friend thing happening on this island that many sisters can attest to. And so when we hear about women tearing down women, which really happens, when we hear about women fighting women and that whole cat thing, we in the Pan-African community, and I'm talking about the spiritual Pan-African community, we really do not subscribe to that kind of sisterhood, or that kind of what masquerades as sisterhood. We've got some genuine connections that are spiritual connections that transcend time and space, that says my sister, is my friend, regardless of where we are, how we are, what we are, how we're doing, why we're doing. That there is this friendship. And those friendships for me over the years, they do not require being on the phone 24/7. They do not require a text 24/7. They do not require physically in the same space 24/7. What it requires is that close spiritual bond that says, you are my sister, and push come to shove or not, When we are to get together, we will get together, and we do get together, and we stand for each other, and we stand with each other, and we do not demand of each other. We do not make demands on our friendship, but we respect each other. And this is a kind of friendship that developed with us, with Jessica, with Olimata Tal, with all the sisters who met her when she came into Jamaica that very first time. And out of that made, friendships here and in every parish. She also made some very, very close friendships with a lot of our brothers on the island. And I see our brothers online and in other spaces just pouring out their heart about losing the physical manifestation of our sister. Jessica was a liberator. She used her voice in the liberation struggle. She was a praise poet, and she did that excellently. She did that very well. So what I heard, because I've spoken to a few persons in South Africa, including journalists, who have told me that, so she left Senegal, and this is Olimata Tal now, who is calling me when I'm on air. So Oli, you're live on air, Oli, so don't say much, but we're going to call you now through the system, and not through this phone, but through the system, so we could have that conversation. Are you okay? Are you ready to talk?
Yes.
All right. So hold for me, and then I'll have the operator call you. All right? All right. So Olimata Tal is standing by. So let us have that call with Oli.
Yeah, I love you.
Love you too. Oli, what a time. With last time we spoke, you and I, we talked about the African Queens event, and you told me you were inviting me to the event, and you told me Jessica Mbangini would be there, and this was in Senegal, right?
Yes, it was.
And she was there.
Yes, she was. Yes.
She was posting from there and everything. Let us start there. What do you recall about that time? Because here is our sister who was spending her last days with you in Senegal, which you both didn't know at the time.
Well, first I want to say our journey began in Jamaica many, many years ago when you invited Jessica down to be a part of the Marcus Garvey Festival. Mm-hmm. And you had me be in charge of the delegation that year. It was Barbara Mukasa, Jessica, some other folks, Barbara Mukasa's wife. Mm-hmm. And I was commissioned to be a part of her delegation, be in charge of her, where she was staying, picking her up, taking her to extracurricular activities. I didn't know Jessica from Adams. Yes. And I remember picking her up from the Ocho Rios, one of those...
the Jamaica Grand.
Yeah, Jamaica Grand, exactly.
I think it's called something else now, yeah.
And I didn't know much about her. And
Yes.
all I remember is she was always like, chop, 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 chop. And that was a lingo from South Africa that I didn't know anything about, but I was like, chop, 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 chop.
Yes.
But I got to understand, because I thought she was trying to be like, hurry up. But that was just the thing they did in South Africa. And then I remember joking with her and saying to her that, I'm going to come to South Africa one day. I'm going to come visit you, and we're going to hang out.
Yes.
And it just so happened I was in Gambia during Corona, and Gambia sent me to South Africa. And I called her, and I was like, I'm in South Africa. And she was like, yes, come on, hang out. And I hung out with her.
Yes.
And she took me to meet her family, her brothers, her son.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Soweto Theater, and I love Jessica, man. I'm really shocked.
And have you had a chance to just tell us about what happened in what was Senegal like while she was there? What was that like?
Oh, Senegal was amazing. I would have never thought those would have been her last days, but Senegal was absolutely amazing. And like I said to you, when I met her in Jamaica years prior, I always say to her, I'm going to bring you to Africa. We're going to do some projects together, blah, blah, blah. And so the opportunity came. I have a project called the African Consciousness Project with Mbegandur. We now have a new project called African Queens Project. Mm-hmm. And so we brought all these different artists together. We voiced Sizzla, we voiced FNB, we voiced, I can't even think of everybody at the top of my head right now, but we both voiced those that I can think of right now. M1 from Dead Prez. Mm-hmm. And when we voiced them, we paired them with female artists. So we voiced Ebony with Jessica. We voiced M1 with Queen Africa. We voiced Sizzla with some artists from Senegal and some other artists. And so we decided to organize a festival on top of the project. And so I called Jessica. I was like, "Girl, I want you to be the headline." And she was like, "Hell yeah!"
I can just hear her.
She was like, "Hell yeah!"
Yes.
And I was like, "Girl, I'm bringing you to Senegal." And she was like, "Yes, I'm about it." And so she came, and she was about it. She was so happy. She loved being in Senegal. Like, I mean, when I say she loved being in Senegal, she loved it. Yes. And her energy was just on level 10, and just everything. Mm-hmm. You know, she's a foodie, so we was all about food and this is tradition in Senegal and everything. It was just a beautiful time.
She was posting all of that online, her breakfast, and at the same time she was saying, okay. And she's always on a diet. Let's just say this, she's always doing this. She's always saying, well, I'm going on a diet or I'm on a diet. But as you said, she's a foodie. And so she was posting and apologizing at the same time to say, well, but breakfast is important. So this is why she was in Senegal, walking through to where she was staying and saying, well, I'm going to see what they have for breakfast and so on. So, yes, so obviously she was in high spirits. She was in great spirits, and it was just a few weeks after that she transcended. Have you managed to talk to anyone in South Africa? Because I heard she was ill initially. She went to the hospital, and then she went home, and then was taken back to the hospital and passed. Have you managed to reach any of her family?
I haven't spoken to any members of her family, but I did speak to her backup singer, Doom, who came with her to Senegal. Once I heard, immediately I called him about the news, and we've been texting back and forth. I was just sharing pictures with him and things of that nature. And he's like, please, never forget us, the weekend in Senegal are over, etc. And to me, I think Toomey is like 26. And he's an artist, a creative expression, singer, dancer, and he's definitely been under her tutelage. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely continue to. I would definitely continue to work with Toomey in some capacity, even if it was just trying to keep her legacy alive and using him as a tool to express the creative arts of South African expression and African drum beat dancing, and soul street dancing and soul street singing. Jessica was very special. Like I said earlier, I met her through you when we did the IRFM. Marcus Garvey, many years ago, you commissioned me to kind of be in charge of the delegation. Bob Mukasa, her, and I remember picking her up, and she has a really big personality, and she kind of consumed me, and I was like, who is this individual? But you get to know her, and you got to see who she was and what she represented, and you got to understand her magnitude. And she was a big person. She's a person that embodied the apartheid movement and sang it through her songs. She was the great granddaughter of William Mandela, and she expressed it vibrantly to let you know that yes, I represent Winnie Mandela and the movement. She was a part of the anti-apartheid movement and helped to break that down. And she was very vocal. She was a part of what's going on in South Africa today and the liberation today, and just trying to say that, we're
and as
free,
I was saying earlier,
Yes, be free.
Using her voice in the liberation struggle, when she says, "I'm an African," and she says, "This is," although she says, this is the words of Thabo Mbeki, but what she did was to carry that pride of being an African globally. So people were shouting that with her, and when she was performing, I don't know if you noted this, that every time she performs, she demands from the audience that you stand and say, "I am an African," even if you're sitting. I am an African. And so this was, to me, phenomenal, because she literally got into our heads to recognize who we are and the importance of identifying that by saying Africa is my beginning and Africa is my ending. I mean, that is phenomenal. And I think this is something that I will always remember, to without apology, claim our Africanness, and you know what that has been like for us in the struggle over time, Ole.
It's interesting you say that, because I was just listening to a video of her last night, just trying to feel her essence and start vibration at the African Queen Festival, and she was like, "Raw African Queen, raw, raw African Queen, raw," and that's what I remember. I remember her voice. Ole Mata! I remember her smile and her big magnitude. She just had this big magnitude about her, like,
yes.
Black women rise, Black people will fight, and that's what I'm going to remember about her. I'm going to remember her. We call it gumption. She had this gumption about her. This spirit in the womb of her belly, in the womb of her spirit, that just was loud and vibrant, and anywhere she was, anybody she was around, it was infectious, and you felt it. And it's shocking, Bilal.
It is shocking. We're still coming to terms with it.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll hear more. To hear from her mind.
Yeah. We'll hear more, I'm sure. I'm talking to people who have been around her in South Africa, and not much is out there in terms of what we know, so we can't say much, but we do know that she was ill, that she'd gone into
what I will say is that they said that she had pneumonia, type of flu. And she had been struggling for about a week with the flu.
So this was a very brief illness. It's a very brief illness. Just coming in from Senegal a few weeks ago, and being herself, and then getting ill and pneumonia. This can be.
She and I spoke, because she sent me a picture just 2 weeks ago of me and her eating jollof rice at my friend's house, and she was like, "Please, can you send me Kuma's number? This jollof rice was banging. I need to get in contact with her." And I was just looking at this text from her and crying inside myself, like, wow, who would have thought this? Last month that she and I communicated.
A great loss, but we go with "I am an African. Africa is my beginning, and Africa is my beginning." So we're going to go with Jessica on that. And in the meantime, we really do miss our sister. She was an icon. She, as you said, a big personality in the space, somebody who embodied the liberation struggles in South Africa, who carried the Xhosa and the Zulu and all of that with her. I was saying earlier, and I don't know.
She was a goddaughter for Winnie Mandela.
Yes.
She sang Winnie Mandela's funeral. She was very close to the Mandela family. She was part of the movement against apartheid. I mean, she was just she embodied so much. And I know she was in a personal struggle with her weight for many years. She came to Jamaica. I remember when we went to Fire Water, she was talking about how just going into the water was killing for her. It removed a lot of fluid in her body, allowed her to walk and things. So then she got into the bodybuilding. She's like, I'm a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, I did it.
Yeah, that's her sister.
So I'm glad to have been able to share a few moments with her before she passed, and I'm glad that I was even able to fulfill my personal promise with her, which I said to her, one day I'm going to bring you to West Africa, and I did, and I brought her to Senegal, Gambia.
Yes.
Yes, I did. I really did.
Yeah. Ole, we'll talk some more, but thank you so much. And I know what you're going through. We both have talked about that privately in terms of, the grief and mourning our sister. This is really shocking for us. So my deepest condolences to you and to the Brother family in Senegal and the Gambia. But thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ole Matatal. And we talk soon.
Thank you, Kabu. Thank you, Ari. I love y'all. And long live to Jessica Pena.
Love you too, sis. And we're going through this publicly and privately. We're also remembering this morning one of our brothers, a very, very close friend to this program and to us here at IRFM, our brother Prince Tiba. For those who have been with us for a long time, we used to play it. We really do have to stop and remember them in this space. And this is what we're doing in this segment of the program. Two of our own have transcended. We just heard from Ole Matatal talking about Sister Jessica Mbangini, an icon, a global icon. And she was just 47 years old. We are going to be joined on the phone lines now by Sister P, who will help us to understand a little bit more about her brother, Prince Tiba, and her own relationship in terms of meeting him early in the day and the friendship that developed over time in a very similar way, I think, that happened with us here at IRFM, with myself in particular. He was just that kind of person. So he is also transcended. Sister P, good morning.
Good morning, Kabu. Good morning to the family. I know that we're grieving.
Yes.
It's hard.
Yes, Sister P, it's funny that, well, not funny, but interesting times that this morning, suddenly we're talking, you also knew Jessica pretty well. And
yes,
we can start there because she was involved in one of the rituals in your own family. You want to look back at that little before we talk about Prince Tiba?
Yes, in fact, I had she had sent me a text, and I looked back to see the date. It was on August 5th to ask me how I was doing.
Wow.
But my granddaughter Nayara, when it was her naming ceremony, it was Leah Kim's image, because Leah Kim did my daughter's naming ceremony, and he was there to do my granddaughter's naming ceremony. And Jessica was there, and she went into a whole African thing. I've been trying to find it and can't find it, but it was just so African, and so I was just so appreciative of her and what she had done.
A really beautiful sister. And Sister P, here another thing happening where we are this morning talking about another beautiful soul, our brother Prince Tiba, whom you met many, many years ago. Yes.
I met Tiba, I was living in the United States, and I was sent to Jamaica on a 2-year assignment, and at one of the hotels at the time. And Tiba's group was there. He was the cultural group along with his sister Barbara. And they did, African dance and his drumming. And it was like, wow, this is happening in Jamaica. I was so impressed. But the thing that impressed me most over the years with him, I've never met a humbler soul. He was never, in Jamaica, we tend to be on a hype. He was never a part of that.
No.
In later years, when Sister Parchi and myself, we started a place in Montego Bay called the Marley Beach Village. And it was an African themed. We wanted it to be a place where people would feel Africa.
Yes.
And every Sunday evening, Tiba would just bring his group, and he would just drum and bring that African spirit to the place. The last time that I saw him was at the Marcus Garvey celebration at IRFM, and he was the same Prince Tiba that I knew from 1975.
And you're talking about the 70s. That time Prince Tiba was a little young man.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. We all were young at the time.
Yes.
We all were young at the time.
Yes. That's a long time, Sister P. And this is why it explains a lot to me that he's been doing this for so long. One of the things I said this morning was, So Prince T, when he said Prince Tiba and the Sons of Thunder, you know, of course, a lot of Nyabingi. But what we also got a lot of, I said he was into Afrobeats long before we began to talk about Afrobeats. Wow.
He definitely was, because, you know, he wasn't just doing Nyabingi at the time. He was doing African rhythms at the time. Yes. And his whole troop, you know, just about Africa.
Yes. He called me one time, Sister P, and he said, for the Garvey event this year, I'm going to let the drums talk.
Yes.
So he did the talking drums also. And listen, Muta said, I remember one year, Muta, I think it was a year that we did the Garvey event from the stage. We were literally up on the stage in the yard. And Prince Tibor was playing, and Muta said, listen closely. I don't even know if Muta remember this. He says the drums are talking. And it is no lie. And Prince Tibor literally had the drums talking, Sister P.
Yes.
It was that good.
Yes. The thing about Tiba was that, you know, nowadays, if you can lick to pot cover, you're a master drummer.
Yes.
Yes, but Tiba never looked at himself in that way. He was just doing the work that he was put on this earth to do. And that was the beautiful thing about him. He was just such a calm spirit. I've never seen him get upset. And I've seen him in situations where he could have gotten upset when I was working at the hotel. But he never did.
Yes.
He was just so calm.
Yes. The last time I saw Prince Tiba, I'd gone to the Rastafari village in Montego Bay, and I think he wasn't feeling well from those days. It was not so long ago. It was I think it was inside of just about COVID, just before COVID. And I spent a lot of time with him that day, and sat and chat and eat and just vibing, just chilling, just hanging. For the Marcus Garvey events, I know Shamara called me for the last one to say, listen, we're not getting Prince Tiba, and I said, well, I'm not sure. Let me try. And, I gave her some numbers, and she called around and she said, oh, she heard that he's not doing so well. And I said, Shamara, find out what's happening. She said, oh, he's not on the island. And then the next thing was you, Sister P, again, who told me Prince Tiba has transcended. This is for us also shocking, because many of the family didn't even know that he was ill. And then he transcended. But he never missed an event for Molimu Marcus Messiah Garvey here, Sister P. Never.
I know. It's so hard, because it's like we have lost two stalwarts at the same time.
Yes.
It's just
what do you think about his legacy in terms of the fact, and you mentioned just now that he's a master drummer, although he didn't like to be called that. But what do you think about that legacy? Because we don't have too many master drummers anymore. We don't see a lot of young people there. How do you see his legacy, Sister P, in terms of passing that on? And
the thing with Tiba is because he's coming from so far. He's coming from a time when we were more, it was the 70s. And it was like the time of black power in Jamaica. And that is something that is very important. What he was doing at that time, during that time, was very important. And we talk about drummers in Jamaica, and rarely do you hear his name as one of the big drummers, except for within the community, within a specific community.
And that's a travesty, because he's one, as you said, he's a master drummer.
Yes. I can't even do it. I'm just so hurt.
Yes.
And I feel, so bad, because I see something that I don't know. I haven't been in Montego Bay around him for a long time.
Yes.
And I don't know if anyone has really, if he passed the baton.
Yes.
But I find that the drummers nowadays, a lot of them, and I'm not saying everyone, but they think that, playing fast and all of that is what it's all about. But Tiba's temperament was not like that.
No.
He was this His drumming was calm.
Patient.
Because he was calm.
Yes.
He knew when
Thoughtful.
to lift it, and he knew when to drop it down.
Yes. Thoughtful. He was playing the talking drum. I mean, it's a communication drum. As a matter of fact, his album is called Communication Drums. And somebody that I look for that album left, right, and center, and I can't even find it online to play this morning. But if anyone has it, may I get a copy? Communication Drums is the name of the album that has Prince Tiba and the Sons of Thunder. And when you talk about the talking drums, we're talking some serious level of drumming. That is an ancestral genetic kind of a passing down of that kind of drumming that we don't hear in any other space. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know, Sister P, but I don't know anybody else who does the talking drums.
There may be people who can do, but nothing like Prince Tiba. As I said, he was put on this earth to do what he had done.
Yes.
You know, I mean, like, I even have talking drums at the house here, but I don't know anybody that can play it.
Yes. Yeah. And you've got drumming in your blood and in your family and all of that. But you know, so as we remember Prince Tiba this morning, Sister P, what's your most potent memory of him?
I think it was first meeting him when I was at the hotel in 1975. Mm-hmm. And then I remember when we started, as I said, Sister Parcher and myself started the Mila Beach Village in Montego Bay. Mm-hmm. And just him coming every Sunday evening, we didn't even have to ask him. He was just there because he saw the vision. He saw Africa. Yes. And that sticks in my mind, you know, that really sticks in my mind as someone, because it was never about the money. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's not what it was about for him. It was about establishing a place for African-centered people in Montego Bay, and he wanted to be a part of that.
Yes. We remember our brother, our friend, Prince Tiba this morning in the space. Sister P, thank you so much for coming in and helping us on that journey. This is a time of reflection for the community. I know that there is, don't know if you saw this, Sister P, it says celebrating the life of a king, King Tiba.
Yes.
King Tiba transitioned on Monday, August 26. Family, friends, and community are invited on September 3 to the night to navigate his path to the ancestors in the traditional way through drums, song, dance, and tribute. Honoring his journey is a duty of the living. September 3, 2024, 7 p.m. until the home of King Tiba on Clark Street, Salem, Montego Bay. So
I must say condolences to the family, you know, not just his immediate family, the rest of indigenous village, and the Rastafari community, because let's not forget that Prince Tiba was a part of the Rastafari community.
Let's not forget. Thank you so much, Sister P, and I second that.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Our deepest condolences to the family, friends, the Rastafari community, the cultural community, the indigenous Rastafari family on the passing of the giant. To the night to navigate his path to the ancestors in the traditional way through drums, song, dance, and tribute. Honoring his journey is a duty of the living. September 3, 2024, 7 p.m. until at the home of King Tiba, Clark Street, Montego Bay. For that, the conversations on and the discussions on the role that King Tiba played also in the music industry, because he played on many albums. He played at many stage shows. He played at many concerts. He's recorded on so many different albums here in Jamaica, and I suppose globally, that when the full discussion is done and we have a more fulsome conversation around who King Tiba was, that a lot of this will come out, so that for those who are asking about that side of him, of course, we just stopped this morning to acknowledge and to pay tribute and to remember King Tiba in this space. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining. So I've never did a search well. All right, and you know what? It's on my phone, so I'm sure I can find it on YouTube, but I might not be able to do right now because of my whole setup right here. So, but thank you so much, Akinsanya, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've seen it. As in class, sister. All right, thank you. And I see it. Communication Drums, you know, that album meant so much to me. I played it for years and years and years and years and years. And I suppose I should have moved it to thumb drive, but I didn't. And then it disappeared. But so I'm going to try and get another one, but it's a good one to have. Communication Drums. Try and get a copy of that. Let me go to see what's happening on the social media. No, I didn't post a clear program promo this morning, so people are all over the place, but let me go. All right, so Aldis Hunker says, taking notes already, showing Jawari Garvey I'm in class, like I said. Aldis, I really enjoyed your program last week with our brother talking about artificial intelligence. I had to go because there was one long group telephone call, but I'll catch up on what I missed before the week is out. I really was enjoying that. I know I left Donna Mattis and others there, but so great. Thank you so much, my sister. And Jawari says, Aldis, stop showing off for me. You only beat me by 2 minutes. All right, we see that. Joy says, I can't help it, my brother. All right, so them having them conversation, they're not easy, you know? All right. So Joy says, learning is a two-way process requiring a source of knowledge and a recipient of knowledge. Thank you. And I think you're referring, Joy, my brother, to the poster I posted this morning. In African philosophy, the philosopher is both a speaker and a part of the listening audience. In African philosophy, the philosopher is both a speaker and a part of the listening audience. I love that because, to be fair and to be frank, this is how I live my life in whatever I do and whatever I'm doing, whether it is with the program, whether it is with teaching, whether it is with just hanging out, and it doesn't matter. But this is how I see life. It works for me, so hope it works for you. All right, so Denise Isis Miller says, Isis, morning, how you doing? Isis, were you downtown that time? Were you there for the 3 o'clock ritual? So she says, my beautiful family, I'm in class with a heavy heart today, as my great sister, friend, South African praise poet Jessica Mbangini transitioned yesterday. I dedicate this Running African program to her spirit, family, and friends. Thank you so much, my sister. And we're seeing the responses to that. Irie Daughter says, Hotep, beautiful family, I'm ready for Sunday class. Big up Kabu, big up to you also. Omaliwa Tia says, Grand Rising Kabu, Running African family, have a blessed day. How you doing, Tia? Donna Mattis says, Hotep Kabu and the Running African family, lovely, cool, shivering weather in St. Andrew, really? Ready for the conversation. We did see that there were going to be scattered showers this morning. That's what they are saying on the Met service. And I am seeing that there are 2 systems out at sea. Not quite sure what those are looking like for us, but let's see, or turn that. We're going to turn that back. We're going to turn them back. Go back. But shivering in St. Andrew. Okay. Well, good for you, Donna. She says, if ever there was a slap in the face, it is a member of a dependent, underdeveloped, disenfranchised, continually oppressed small Caribbean island working for one of the greatest symbols, agents, instruments of the downtrodden, something we have got used to. And she's speaking and responding to the comment we made earlier about Mr. Clark, Nigel Clark, moving to the IMF. She says, moving up on to the IMF to a I got it. Moving on up to the IMF to a deluxe appointment with the enemy of the poor and dispossessed. He finally got his piece of the pie. Now, this girl is a poet and she's going to have to publish this. By the way, copyright this, Donna. right? Make sure you copyright this, because this is yours. Although you're using somebody else's music thing, but you get permission for the rhythm, and then copyright it. And Aldith Hunker says, regarding Dr. Nigel Clark and the self-bondage he adheres to, it might be beneficial to Jamaica to follow Paulo Freire's philosophy on education in an oppressed country. Yes, I made a note of that when you were having the conversation with our brother on Friday, Aldith, that I have to get that work. And you're saying Freire's work featured prominently in my long convo with Professor Gabriab last Friday. And you have placed a link of that in the comments on Facebook. So please go to the comments in Facebook, listen to that conversation between Olu Matatal and Professor Gabriab. It's important. It was an interesting conversation. It is about artificial intelligence, but also that reference and that discussion on Paulo Freire's philosophy on education in an oppressed country. So please go and check that out. And then, did I overlook Mesmore Farai? Mesmore Farai says, Hotep Defender, Queen Hotep, my sister Mesmore. LMDS Ras Andy Anderson says, Hotep, Tim Ivan Miller, Hotep Kabu to you too. And Omalia, I don't know anyone who, but yes, man, you know who can deal with rat bat? Is the people who own the companies that spray out your house, that disinfect your house. You know those people go around and the companies, they can do the rat bat thing too, so check them. And Aldith says, thank you for sharing those wonderful memories of Jessica Mbangini Cabo. It really is heart-wrenching. Yes, my sister, it is. Very much so. I know I saw some comments coming in elsewhere, and I'm trying to find them. Yes, Stephen Riviere says, give thanks for the reasoning on education this morning. He says, Favour Williams has been a failure as a Minister of Education. Damien Crawford, lots of big talk, and the media loves chat. What did he accomplish in tourism, entertainment? Did he change Jamaica's tourism model or get a concert hall built? While protesting in Falmouth, I saw him. All right, let me... okay, all right. So you saw him with Prince Harry, you said. And I know they were not discussing reparations. Yes, and I suppose the point I was making when I talked about whether or not the education ministry should be restructured or reconfigured to include a bipartisan management where people from those who are qualified from the opposition are sourced, and those from the governing party, those who are qualified and best suited to do so, are sourced. And I'd said earlier that I heard the Prime Minister making comments on the debacle, the travesty, literally, of what happened with PEP, the failure there, what happened with the mathematics in the CSEC, what the failure there, and just the low passes generally. There was a headline that said 6,000 students who took the CSEC did not pass even one subject. And I kept looking to see if that headline was right. It right? 6,000. Yes, and I miss it something. And I couldn't believe it. So our situation, our situation is dire. And so the point I was making is that because we are where we are, and if we're serious about change, and I know that there were propositions and proposals made from the Partisan Commission, but education cannot be a political, football, or tribalist thing. So because Crawford is a spokesperson on education, and I heard the Prime Minister saying what he was saying, I knew the Prime Minister already had that portfolio once, so my question was tongue in cheek, was whether or not the Prime Minister was looking again at taking up the education portfolio. And so I said, if he's going to take up the education portfolio, let's just say that he plans to do that, then what he probably should widen it into is to looking at the opposition and seeing the best qualified persons there, but also finding a committee that can come in. And I know they say a camel is a horse designed by a committee, but we're going to have to design a camel for the education sector because it is failing. I mean, it's a phenomenal failure. It's a phenomenal failure. We can't have just a handful of our young people passing through kindergarten, infant school, primary school, high school, and coming out barely able to read and write and count. That is beyond a failure. That is now a deliberate act to create a slave class, an enslaved population. It is deliberate, I tell you. It's been happening for too long without change. It has to be deliberate. They keep talking about service. I say we get that word out of the education system altogether and talk about creators, ideators, manufacturers, farmers, agriculturists, scientists. This word, this narrative that they're spewing about service, and I'm saying we can put service to one side and understand what service means, but that we have to define. We need a new paradigm, new definitions, new narratives to understand what we're being faced with. We are creating a service population. In politics and nation building, when you create a nation for service, you're creating a nation of slaves because they're going to have to serve somebody. And they're not serving them community, they're not serving them family, they're not serving themselves, they're serving the white man. Because the tourist is not black, the tourist is white. This is why I am convinced that the failure we're seeing in the education industry, it is deliberate. When are we going to get up, rise up, and demand better for our children? We heard from Rayon Simpson this morning, principal of Belmont Academy. He says they are redefining education in terms of how it is implemented. And one of the things they're doing, he says by third form, children can complete the curriculum, which normally takes 5 years, and they can do the CAPE in 2 years. So by 5 years, they're out of there. And quite a few people are already doing that, and they have put that in motion and showing that that can work. It can work. Our children are brilliant. A lot of our children are brilliant. Why is it that so many of our students are leaving infant, primary, high school, and we are saying now 6,000 of them come out with not one subject? There is a brother who I saw in the newspapers who said I think he was doing an interview or something, but I don't think he was giving a speech. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he was pointing to a situation where Jamaica, because of Jamaica's dire situation, needed to go back to reading, writing, and arithmetic and forget all the other subjects at primary school level. So that if we're going to correct the problem, is to focus on reading, writing, and mathematics and get them out of there into the high school. I agree with him 100%. 100%. Because serious times call for serious and immediate measures. The chatting, the talk shop, a lot. Jamaican people can talk, you know. Jamaican people can talk. There are a lot of Zoom sessions, a lot of retreats, a lot of discussions, a lot of conversations. We talk ourselves into poverty. We talk ourselves into continued oppression. We talk ourselves, it's a paralysis of analysis. This is where we find ourselves in Jamaica, because everybody love put on a jacket and tie and straighten up themselves, and if a woman has heels and them hair all cream or whatever, and they're going to a meeting. And the meetings run for 1 whole day, 2 day, 3 day, and somebody's paying for that. And then you come out of that and you say, oh, we had this discussion, oh, let us publish it. And you put it in a document and you say, where's the preamble? And all kinds of words you're throwing at each other. And you publish that. And that's that. And our children continue to fail. I think we need to stop the chatting and do something. We are not who we say we are. We are what we do. And as a nation, we are failing. We are failing phenomenally. I cannot for the life of me understand, and somebody's going to have to help me to understand. I don't think I have the capacity to understand that in our 62nd year of so-called independence, we can have a headline that's saying 6,000 students come out of fifth form, taking the O levels, the CXC, the CSEC, whatever you call it now, and don't pass not even one. What are you going to do with them 6,000 there? And how many didn't pass last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before? So I don't have no time for foolishness. Our situation is dire. We have to do something. And then they tell us that they want us, they are urinating in our faces and telling us that it's raining. They have got us to a point where they define and redefine for us every single thing, and we believe them. We see Nigel Clark as one of the other civil servants, like the teachers and the doctors and the nurses, abandoning ship and taking a better position in his eyes, because that's what all of them do. The brain drain continues. It's just one of the highest levels of the brain drain that we're seeing right in front of our eyes. And they are redefining that to tell us that it's because we did so well. What kind of madness? What kind of utter rubbish? What kind of madness is that conversation, is that narrative? We rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Unless and until we begin to do something about where we are as a nation. Are we building a nation, or are we building a hut? To quote Uncle Ernie. Somebody have to answer that question there before it's too late. Somebody must have the conscience to answer that question. Someone has to answer that question. How do we build a nation? Do we want to build a nation? And how do we build a nation? Do we want a nation of slaves? Do we want a nation that is oppressed under the burden of colorism and racism? Do we want a nation that is enslaved to tourism? Or do we want a nation of builders and creators and ideators? Do we want to lift ourselves up by our bootstrings and do better for ourselves and for our nation, where every single person has equal rights to education, equal access, and can own land and own a home and take care of their family and live in peace without violence and crime? What kind of nation do we want? What kind of nation are we building? We must answer that question. We must answer that question, and enough of us have to feel a righteous indignation about where we are today and what those who are put in positions of leadership are trying to spin it into telling us that we are better off than we are. And then so many of us are on this tribalist bandwagon. We're either on one or the other. Then where is this going? So, is it going to take an earthquake or hurricane or some natural disaster? What is it going to take to wake Jamaica up and to wake us up out of this madness that we find ourselves in? I'm very concerned about where we are as a nation. I'm very, very concerned about this because we had the choice, and we have chosen poverty and oppression and slavery. Somebody made that choice for us. How dare they?